Hello, YouTube. Hey, everybody. This is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It is Sunday night. It's like 11:30 p.m. here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, June 21st, 2020. I hope everybody is staying safe. I know things are just getting really crazy out there, and for targeted individuals, it's already been crazy. But happy Father's Day to all the fathers, just to all the men in the world, because your would-be fathers. I sent my dad a text today and just told him I was really thankful that he instilled, faith and perseverance in me. Um, I'll kind of wait for some people to get in. I've got a couple of things that I want to show you guys tonight. Um, since we I hope you sent in your emails today, even if you haven't. I don't know what the time difference is right now. It's like 11:36. It's due. Emails are due by Sunday, by today. Hey, Gloria. Gloria says, hey, Kyle. How are you doing, Gloria? I hope you're doing okay. Happy Father's Day. I know you're probably a mother, but happy Father's Day anyway. Hey, Biggie. Um, but yeah, so I got that email in. And I wanted to go over some other things about that. Some things that Niels Melzer said, because basically, and we already know this, right? In the last session, cyber torture was talked about, like the UN, the special rapporteur on torture presented everything that was happening to us, like in a legitimate UN space, right? So, we can tell this is a perception war because the UN is already legitimizing all of our claims. And we still have people. I'm going to show you guys some things tonight. Some people who like make fun of us and stuff like that. And then I'm going to juxtapose it with what the UN says, what the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, how he completely confirms what we are saying. So I want to show some of those things. And I called this a hope stream because my hope, even though everything is like, we're facing, civil war, we're facing more lockdowns, more of the coronavirus stuff. Hopefully it can be mainstream knowledge, right? And we need to take a lot of these things that the UN has said, that Niels Melzer said, and especially what they're going to say in October. And when you go to a doctor or you go to your parents or your family, you need to print a lot of this stuff out so you can just go, look, the UN is talking about this. Hey, Slack TI, how you doing, man? Slack TI says, hey, yo, feller. Why do you always call me feller? You're always like, hey, feller. Happy Dog Dad Day. Preston Martin says, how's it going, Kyle? Hope you're doing well. I had a great Father's Day. I spent it with my family and granddad and dad. That's great, Preston. Yeah, my dad is in Florida, so I didn't get to hang out with him. But hopefully, when he comes into town, we'll be able to do lunch or something like that. So let's show some of this. I want to. Well, first of all, I want to say this. For any targeted individuals who use grounding. If it's working for you, keep using it. But I want to show you guys a video a long time ago, like a couple of years ago, I think like 3 years ago. I used to go to Neil Chevier's call on like Sunday nights, and I think he did another call. And I had just started using grounding then, and I was like, grounding is great. There's nothing negative about it. And he said on his show, be careful with grounding because you might get dirty electricity coming through, or you might get EMF coming through that. And so lately, it's really complicated what happened. It's really, really complicated what happened. And if you are using grounding and it's having positive effects for you, keep using it by all means. But we just need to be aware there could be some negative effects. And I think what happened with me is I was using grounding, so for many years, completely positive effects, but some cumulative negative effects were adding up, and then the negative effects started outweighing the positive effects lately with manipulation from my attackers. It gets kind of complicated, but the whole time I was like, I wasn't even thinking that it could have been grounding that was messing things up. So I want to show you guys this video. I want to just show y'all all the information, and we need to look into grounding, look into people who say there may be negative things about it, and look at the people who say there may be positive things about it. We need to just look into it a lot more, you know. And if it's working for you, keep using it by all means. I had a problem lately where I was like, it was like I couldn't stop moving, and it felt like there was like energy coursing through my brain. Now that happens with the targeting, but it was like at a level where I was like, oh, the remote neural manipulation got really bad, and it's just getting really bad. And then my attackers would time it, like I'd be wearing my grounding, I'd turn on my ZVS driver, and I'd start feeling that feeling, and I was like, oh, it must be the ZVS driver, because in no place in my mind was I like, oh, it's the grounding is the causality of a problem I'm having. It was out of my mind. So so just be aware if you're using grounding. Be aware of how you feel, and don't count it out. Don't be like, grounding is blameless. You know, grounding is blameless, and I'm looking at everything else that may be going on, because that's what I did. And I never looked at it. My attackers were able to manipulate something with the grounding, I think, right? The stuff gets really complicated. So I want to show you guys this video. Hey, Tansy. Tansy says, hi, all. Tansy says, wow, grounding was messing stuff up. Well, I want to show you this, Tansy. I want to show you guys this video. I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure that my attackers, I want to show you this video. If you use grounding, especially do not have something else plugged into that same socket that's turned on. Let me show you guys this. Let's see what you think. If it's working for you, fine. Don't change that. Don't take it off, because it's weird, right? It's not just like, oh, grounding was doing all this bad. There were positive effects, but then something started to build up, like a voltage in my body, and my attackers were able to manipulate that more. I took off the grounding, right, and I feel better in a lot of ways, but the positive effects have left, right, because I'm not using the grounding. So the external hits, the heat on my body is a little bit more. So it's this complicated mess where it's like, oh, it's not all better. It was doing some good stuff, and there's some negative effects. May not happen to you guys. It may not happen to you guys. How your electricity is set up in your house, your attackers may not be able to manipulate it, and the grounding could just have positive effects. So don't stop using it if it's working for you. But let me show you this video real quick. I kind of wanted to start out with it. Yeah, Gloria Aquino says sometimes shielding will make things worse if you don't ground properly. Like, the bottom line is that some of the stuff we use, my attackers get really sophisticated, and I'm sure a lot of y'all's do too. They have a lot of time, and sometimes they can manipulate things that we're using without our knowledge, and it can maybe they can be maybe turned around on us. The things that I can think of that have had no negative effects, right, that haven't been able to be manipulated against me at all, are the Dave Case's CD, the noise canceling hearing aids, the less EMF headgear. What else? The lead cap. The lead cap, definitely. There's something else. The Q-Wave Defenders, the Schumann resonator, and I'm sure there's a couple of other things. The cleansing, obviously, the supplements, heavy metal detox, those things. But I think, like with the ZVS drivers, if I have one on, it's good. It works. If I have two on and it builds up a powerful field, you know, my body's very sensitive to EMFs now since I've been being targeted so long. So you got to be careful how much of like a ZVS field you're using. So it's not just like you can put 5 ZVS drivers around you. Your body may experience like sensitivity from those fields. And then I want to show you this video on grounding, guys. See what y'all think. Yeah, Tansy says it's a good idea to recheck the shielding we have. Yeah, just don't count any. Just like if you start feeling bad, don't just say, okay, well, they're getting through. Just kind of look at what you're doing. And this is something I'm putting out there about the grounding, because it feels like they were able to manipulate the fields around her, the conductivity or something like that, and it was coursing more energy through my body. But it was like a slow process. For years, it only had positive effects. Still, even when it was having negative effects, it was still having those positive effects, but my attackers were able to manipulate it where the negative effects outweighed it. Complicated, like I almost didn't want to say anything because I'm sure some people are using grounding and not having any problems, but I just want you to be aware if you do start feeling like how I felt like I couldn't stop moving, it felt like energy was coursing through my body, which is a natural thing in targeting. It just happens, but it was like at a level where I was like, oh, this is over now. I was like, man, they've gotten their protocol to where, you know, I feel the worst in the world all the time. Yeah, let me show you this video, guys. Hey, Alan. Alan says the Slapster TI, the Tansy T, the best people. Michael John says, hi, Kyle. Nice to be here. Glad to see you. Up and alert. Make sure you don't leave your polarized glasses anywhere. Keep them with you. Yeah, I have 2 pairs, and I'll sometimes leave one in my place. I don't think right now anybody's coming into my place. Let me show this to you guys. And it's the guy is like doing testing on it, so he's not just talking about it. He's actually doing tests with an AM radio, and he's getting RF frequencies off of this. And what I was experiencing, this makes a lot of sense. So this is EMF Truth. I guess I'll subscribe to him. But let's see what he says. I'll put on closed caption real quick. It's kind of long, but I do want to show like the process he goes through. I hope you guys can hear this.
What's up, all you EMF geeks out there? Today I'm going to talk about a very important topic if you use grounding mats or anything else, something like that, to try to increase your health by decreasing your body's internal voltage. Now, I get the premise behind this, but the people that sell these products are either extremely ignorant of what I'm about to show you, or they are flat out making completely ridiculous claims or trying to hide this. So either way, by the end of this video,
can you guys hear this? I'm gonna open up my chat on my tablet. Is the ZVS driver too loud? I think I can turn that off just for my live stream, just to make sure it's not making that huge humming sound. So my last video, I had both of them on. Oh, and I could hear that huge humming. Okay, I think y'all should be able to hear this.
Plugging yourself directly into your house's electrical system.
Uh-oh. Hey, it's all freezing up. Shoot. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, y'all gotta bear with me. My attacker is just hacking at my stuff and freeze stuff up all the time. Maybe go back. Maybe pause it, then push play. Really? Really? Hey, Stacy. Stacy says, hey, everyone. Hi, Kyle. Ray I Am. Hey, Ray I Am. Says, hello, Stacy. This is ridiculous. Hold on. I'm going to, okay, here we go.
The electrical system on the grounding line is a really bad idea for your health, and especially with the potential smart meter you're hooking yourself up to, which acts as an antenna off your house's electrical system, broadcasting dissonant or disharmonic frequencies with your biology. Or let's say a neighbor has a solar inverter, something like that, that's causing a lot of dirty electricity. But regardless of all that, just your own household appliances are enough to create dirty electricity on the line that you are then plugging yourself directly into as you sleep or work away at your computer. So I hope this video illuminates some of the potential dangers in connecting yourself to the grounding cord of your home. Later in the video, I will address the people who use the grounding product with a stake outside, thinking that they're, magically avoiding potential dangers of using it within the electrical wiring of the house. It's still dangerous to do that, depending on the house you're living in.
And there seems to be like, and he shows like he does an experiment with this to show that it's like the grounding mat. If it's plugged in with the computer and the computer's turned on, it basically becomes an antenna. But there's a lot of disagreement about this. Some people are like, no, there's no dangers with grounding at all. But it's just like it was years. Like I had only positive effects from the grounding, but then it's like my attackers figured something out, or it was a buildup. I'm not sure, and I just want to let people know about it, because I'm kind of starting to see that, like, I'm not like, oh, grounding's bad. I'm just like, we got to be careful with it and do it the right way, or you could be getting dirty electricity. Like Neil said it a long time ago, and I was like, no, that's just a myth. That's just a rumor. But then I think I've been experiencing that lately.
To help me with the demonstration, I have an AM radio. I'm going to use it to detect EMI, electromagnetic interference. I have this grounding sheet, so it's on my couch, but you can just pretend that it gets a nice bed. I have one of these grounding cables that attach to the sheet. I have a grounding mat that people commonly put underneath their wrists on their computer or under their feet while they type away. And then I have the checker. We're going to use the checker to just show you that these are in fact grounded outlets we're using. And we have 2 extension cords, both of them plugged in.
So he's doing it on extension cords.
And then we have a laptop computer, Apple MacBook Air, and we're just going to show you just a basic little demonstration of how you might be harming yourself with grounding products. So let's begin. I'm going to take my grounding checker. I'm going to plug it right in to this extension cord.
I don't see why he didn't do it just straight into the outlet.
So it is a grounded outlet. Unplug it. I'm going to plug the grounding wire in to there. Okay, you can see this is a grounding sheet. I'm going to turn on my AM radio. You don't hear
So that's good. Like if it just plugged in.
Constructed of cotton with micro silver wiring all throughout it as a conductive surface. Now the premise is that as you connect your body to it, the static electricity in your body, or the positive ions, will go down this wire out into the ground. That's the premise. Now, while the ground will take static electricity and put it into the ground, the thing that people are forgetting is that this is a system that's hooked up to your house, and by the very proximity, radio frequencies and electrical frequencies are not immune to hijacking those copper wires within the walls and transmitting themselves through this, acting like an antenna, going directly into your body.
See, and that's like, okay,
you think you're doing something really good. Very easy to demonstrate.
This is why I think there's manipulation for my attackers, because I'm thinking they're doing some kind of field next to the wiring, and then that's somehow coming to. So I think it's something my attackers had to do. I don't think it was some natural thing, because on this wall, I don't have like a computer or anything plugged in. Now, with the other grounding, I have a surge protector where everything's plugged into it. So that might have affected that side. But watch this, guys. Watch this when he plugs in the computer and the grounding.
Plug the computer charger into this. This is a pretty typical setup. You might be lying down to sleep while you have your good old handy computer charging. Now we're going to go back here. We're going to check this again. So I'm turning on my AM radio, which is going to test for dirty electricity. As I go, oh, what's that?
So that's a lot of radio frequency energy.
It is dirty electricity.
So it's like,
a lot of it. It's radiating about, like at least a couple feet off of this antenna now.
So it's like the excess energy, like from the computer being plugged in, is being routed into the blanket. So make sure, just when you're using grounding, and I'm not sure if it's room, me and somebody else were talking about it, we're not sure if it's like everything has to be unplugged in the room or just the outlet. And then there's an extra layer of, can our attackers somehow put an electromagnetic field or do something with the wall wiring, right? Because we know they can manipulate dirty electricity. Can they do that even if you're doing everything right? So just be careful with it. Be aware that you know, that it's not just non-manipulatable. That's not even a word. What's the word for it? That it's that it can be manipulated. So be aware of that, because, like, you know, I was starting to feel like electrocuted, not even electrocuted, but like energy coursing through my body, like energy coursing through my brain, where I was like, oh, this is the remote neural manipulation, which I have remote neural manipulation, but it was like, oh, I can't even see. I can't stop moving. I thought it was the ZVS driver, but I ended up taking off the grounding, and I felt completely different. Like my body calmed down and everything like that. So I'm looking at the causality, which is something that, do I talk about that? It's whenever you're using a lot of defenses and your attackers are doing all this sophisticated stuff and trying to psyop you, they try and psyop you on causality, like what's doing what, you know. So you got to be careful with that. And so when I was using the grounding, I was like, okay, there's no way, like it never entered my mind that it could be producing any kind of negative effects. So just keep that in mind, right? Let's watch the rest of it, because this other party shows is weird.
Now, I don't have the right equipment to be able to test for smart meter radiation.
What do you guys think about this?
You can imagine that.
What do you guys think about this? Hey, Ann. Ann says, hey, guys. Yeah, okay, so RNDM browser says, hello, grounding works very well for me. Yeah, and I know a lot of other people that the grounding works fine for. Completely positive effects. They don't feel any negative effects. Just be aware. And I'm pretty sure that it wasn't just, okay, I have the grounding in the wall and it was naturally doing something negative to me. I think my attackers had to do something. My attackers had to manipulate, they had to manipulate, put an electromagnetic field around it or something, where excess electromagnetic frequencies were coming up the ground, or somehow send dirty electricity in. I know that sounds crazy to somebody who's not a targeted individual, but it wouldn't sound crazy to you guys. Stacy TI says, don't forget to keep a journal of your torture, everyone. Very important to keep a log for evidence later. I used to write something down every day of what I was going through, but I got sick of it. Just got so tired of it after years and years of torture. But I need to at least every week, go through the week and what I've been through, especially with the October session of the UN coming up. If they want to contact any of us, or they're going to talk to any of us, we want to have some good records and evidence. This is very hopeful. I mean, we're already mainstream. The UN has said it's happening, but it's like we're still in this perception, like nobody believes us because nothing's being done about it, right? And then the normal public doesn't really hear anything about what the UN's saying specifically about targeting. So when we're talking to doctors or anybody, I think it would be a good time to try and get help from doctors again and bring in information, or maybe wait till October to where it's way more concrete, and then show people that information. This is the UN saying that this is happening. Nobody can just say, oh, that's just your imagination or you're mentally ill anymore. They can't say that. Can't say that anymore. So it's a complete game changer. Hey, Tanya. Tansy says, is there a way to ground it without plugging it into the wall? I've seen people run grounding to the earth. I think that would be the better way, Tansy. And I was looking for like shoes. I was looking for grounding shoes or any kind of mats where you didn't have to plug it into the grounding, like it would just naturally ground. I don't think that exists. But I think the best way of earthing is to actually put your feet on the ground for like 15 to 30 minutes a day, or to run it out to a grounding rod and inside. I think that's very, very hard for our attackers to manipulate. And I think that if you plug it into the grounding in the wall, because I didn't have problems for years. So that's why I'm thinking, and it's been a buildup over the last like year or two, but I didn't know. I thought things were just getting worse. I didn't see the causality. But I think it's fine. I think it's fine in some people's, like they're targeted, they're using grounding, their attackers aren't doing. I almost didn't want to say anything because I don't want to give y'all's attackers any ideas, right? But I feel responsible that we should at least not take it off the table. If you start feeling voltage going through your body or something like that, you want to keep it in mind that something could be going on with the grounding, right? And definitely in the outlet that you're grounding in, don't like I shouldn't take my computer, plug it into this outlet, and then have my grounding going in the same outlet. That's completely, you're going to be creating an antenna with those earthing products, right? So, one of the bottom lines, we just need to learn more about it, study about it, know how to do it safely, and be aware of what our attackers can manipulate with electricity, right? So, I mean, it's really important because it really did screw me up. Hey, Tanya says, hey, Kyle, happy you're back. I've made a bunch of videos. I've been here. I've been around, Tanya. You've been missing me. Thank you. Yeah, I'll try and do more. I'm feeling some energy, and I'm feeling very hopeful about the UN thing, like the UN investigation. And I kind of want to talk about some of the really awful, devastating things that are going on in society. So I'm thinking I can do more, but I got to balance it out. I got to balance it out with finding some resources and, doing what I said, getting like a private investigator, an attorney. We could go see, I think now it'd be pretty easy to go to a lawyer and show them this stuff from the UN, and it would at least be a couple of good percentage points of maybe getting their help, a doctor's help, a lawyer's help, anything else. So it's a total game changer. It's just the world is coming down around us. There's civil unrest everywhere. The coronavirus pandemic, I don't want to say hoax because there's something going on that's going to keep growing. They're starting to say that a lot of people are getting the C virus that work at meat packing facilities, so they're going after the food. Then there's kind of people, the Helena Institute is doing TED Talks about maybe a blackout happening. What do we do if a blackout happens? So I think that the New World Order, the people at the top of the pyramid and then agencies down, have all these plans to hit the public with wave after wave of crisis. Then what happens? Then it's like, what happens when the UN comes out and declares that there's this cyber torture going on? Everybody's getting smacked in the face with civil war, with race division, with lockdowns, with, all the CV stuff. It's like they're not even going to be able to pay attention to it because there's just so much other serious stuff going on. Yeah. But I mean, it's still hopeful, and we can just put it in people's faces, Lynn Rom says, Earth, find a spot near your bedroom if you can. Yeah, Lynn Rom says, I do not trust the UN either. Yeah, I have a little bit of trouble trusting that they're going to fix everything. But what it signifies to me, what the UN talking about this and doing an investigation implies to me, is it's so widespread, and they're not hiding it anymore, that there is this planned reveal of it from the top of the pyramid, to reveal it in a certain way and to have the UN play a role in that. Which is, it's good that it might be stopped, bad because what are they going to say is really going on? Everything is like kind of artificially manipulated. Hey, Nicholas Hamlin says, hey, Tanya, thank you for all your encouraging comments. You bring light to my day. You bring light to my day, Nicholas. Tansy says, I missed so many of your videos. The buggers changed the bell setting to child friendly. I had to search to see if you made any videos. I was like, I haven't seen any videos from Colin in a while. Yeah, I've been making a couple, not any live streams, but I definitely put the not made for children because I talk about torture. You know, I think that if it, you know, I think you get censored even if you talk about torture on your YouTube videos and it's not made for children, but especially if you put like it's okay for children and then there's anything about violence or torture, and even just talking about the violence and the torture done to us is talking about a controversial issue that YouTube can censor in its algorithms. Our society is just insane, you know. Stacy says, I hope you all got your letters to the UN. The deadline is today. I barely made it, LOL. Yeah, I hope everybody got their letters in, for real. Hey, Rose. Nicholas says, you are amazing, Kyle. Thank you so much for all your work and research. Every time I feel stuck and frustrated, you've always come out with something that lights that fire again. Yeah, and thank you to everybody sending me information. Stacy gives me a lot of information. Slack TI sends me information. A bunch of people send me information because like sometimes I'm so tired, and then Stacy will send me something about like the UN investigation. The email submissions, she sent me something, then Slack TI sent me something, and if they weren't there, I would have maybe not even heard about it. And then I can kind of you know put it out in a video, and more people can hear about it. So thank you for everybody for helping me. We've got to do that because I know we all get in this spot where it's hard to do anything, and so we all need to, whatever we're good at, we kind of need to do as much as we can to help others, to help lift other people up. Yeah, thank you so much, Slack. So let's watch the rest of this, because in this one part, he shows this thing that's not even plugged in, working as an antenna. So just be aware. The bottom line is just be aware and research more, and just make sure if you're using grounding out of a wall that you don't have any other appliances plugged in and turned on. Like I think I could have like my computer plugged into that wall, but not on, and I don't think it would make a difference at all.
And if the house had a smart meter, you could do the very same.
Yeah, my attackers are definitely going to be freezing stuff up tonight because I've got some important stuff
And this would basically
that Niels Melzer's talking about.
Potentially, very likely transmitting smart meter RF. Acting as an antenna directly in your body as you sleep. All right, so just to show you how I know that this is picking up the charger, you just heard it, it was silent. Now I'm going to go to the charger. Yeah, that's the charger. Yeah. I mean, look,
so is the computer on?
To demonstrate. It's not, you see, it's picking it up.
I don't know if the computer's
it's not
on.
even hooked up. This is an antenna, people. This is an antenna. Anything that's around, it's going to pick up. It would be doing the same thing whether this is hooked up to the stake in the ground or not. Look, this is not hooked up to anything.
But that doesn't make
it up in the air.
So that one, okay, so that one is not plugged in, and he's picking up signals from it. But just a second ago, that other one was plugged in without the computer being plugged in, and it was fine. So what I'm getting out of what I'm seeing is some grounding products, even if they're not plugged in, can work as an antenna, but some are good. Some are good as long as you don't have other appliances plugged into them. And that's what I'm kind of getting out of this.
I hooked up. I'm putting it down. It is an antenna. Now watch this. See this? I'm going to unplug the computer charger. Unplug the computer charger. It stops. It is done. Silence, radio silence.
But, okay, that was with the computer plugged in.
You can go back to sleep on your
so that was with the computer, with the computer plugged in and turned on. That grounding pad that was not plugged in was working as an antenna, taking some of those EMFs in. Now that's important to us. It's obviously important to target individuals because our attackers are creating fields around us and shooting us with beamforming weapons, right? So we got to be kind. I mean, if it's working for you, I think just, don't worry about it right now. Use it with the positive effects. Just be aware your attackers might be able to do something with it. They might be able to use that thing against you. That's what it really felt like. And my attackers are really, really, they're assholes, right? They're assholes. They don't do stuff anymore that's just like, boom, we're popping it on you to where you know about it. They try and really psyop it. So it was like I was having the grounding on and it was fine. And then I would turn on my ZVS driver and then I'd start feeling that, so that I was like, oh, the causality is the ZVS driver. They do crap like that. And I know that gets complicated, but our attackers are sitting there, my human operators and the automated systems, they're sitting there day after day for years. So they do these long plays, right? They do these long psyops to make sure that I'm not figuring out what's going on. And I eventually do, because I'm so smart, and you guys do too. But we just need to be aware. Yeah, Nicholas Hamlin says one needs to study ham radio and radio propagation to understand how this works. I would love to explain what I know about this, but all things are an antenna. Yeah, Nicholas, I'll have you come on. We'll do a night where you can just come on and talk. Just you come on, because I know you know a lot about frequencies, and I want to ask you some things about the ZVS driver. Hey, what's up, Wayne? And everybody check out Wayne and Jeff are doing a podcast. So Wayne's putting it on his channel, but I think Jeff put some of them on his channel. So check out Jeff O. Put in Jeff O targeted individuals, and then obviously Wayne Morris. They're doing an awesome podcast. I watched like half of, I think, the second one. So Nicholas says, just remember the ground circuit is the only circuit you cannot turn off ever. And they use it to propagate Lily waves because it reaches all the way around you like a circular antenna. The deal was, guys, like in this stopped when I stopped using grounding, and it was like I could not shut my mind off and injected thoughts, because they do that anyway all the time, but it was like the injected thoughts in my body feeling like I couldn't stop moving was nonstop. And I was going, this is the end. I was like, they've got the remote neural manipulation to a point where I'm going to go insane. Like my brain organically could not take injection. And so it was like they were using some kind of increased conductivity and electromagnetic field, and it was increasing their ability to do whatever they were doing. And I didn't look at the grounding at all. But I don't want to scare anybody, because somebody who was using grounding, we were talking about it, and she was like, oh, now my attackers are going to psyop me. It may be fine for you. Like, it may be fine for you, but I just want you to be aware. I don't want to freak anybody out or make people's attackers do some kind of psyop. So just do it safely. Make sure you don't have other appliances plugged in and stuff like that. And I think you'll be good. Like, I may even still use grounding. What I may do, when I go to sleep, I may shut everything off. Well, I got to have my computer for Dave Case CD to run. But I may just have my computer plugged in and then turn off all the lights and everything, and then try and use the grounding again, in a safer way. But I'm still concerned. I'm still concerned about my attack, like what Nicholas was saying, our attackers manipulating wiring in the wall to then send EMFs through the grounding. So just be careful. Just be careful and aware, and study it on your own. Don't just take this video and what I'm saying. Study grounding. Study what everybody's saying about it. And then keep in mind that we're dealing with extra electromagnetic fields. Like most people, when they're talking about grounding, they're like, well, you got your computer, you got your TV, you got your electronics, right? And you got to worry about those fields interfering, or you're trying to stop your body's conductivity from being affected by those fields. But we've got extra powerful, remote fields being put around our head and our body. And so just remember, we're dealing with that kind of extra layer
is basically
of directly being targeted.
These extension cords, this one, for example, is hooked up to a strip that has very little on it. There's only one other thing on there. Now, you look at what people have in their average house, the appliances, the CFL light bulbs, solar inverters from neighbors.
So definitely turn your power off in your room,
switches,
like, because,
other computers,
you know, if you have a
stereos,
light on
Wi-Fi,
or
all
anything
these
like
things that are
that.
going to be generating tons of dirty electricity. We don't have that on this setup. So this is just an example of just the computer charging. And so you might think, well, you know, I don't even need to plug this into the other one to show you. It's going to do the same thing. You can see it picking it up without even being plugged in.
So it's not even.
So you might say, well, what if I have a grounding stake that bypasses the grounding wire on my wiring? What if I bypass this and I just hook this thing up directly out the window to a stake? Well, the problem with that is that essentially your body is going to act as an antenna. It's going to pick up stray voltage. It's going to now use this antenna or this antenna. It's going to channel that stray voltage directly into your body. From the air, it's going to go through this and into the ground because it's looking for the easiest way out. And then the ground gives it an ability to do it.
See, okay, so let me show you this, guys. Let me show you this other thing that I looked up. I think I kept it up here. And it makes a lot of sense. And it kind of is what it felt like. Now, but a lot of people disagree on this stuff. So don't take it as gospel, right? Use the grounding if it helps you. Just be aware there can be some complications. I think I don't know if I still have that up. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Okay, so this is, look, check this out. So this is from earthinginstitute.net. So they're saying beware of earthing misinformation, right? So all of these things that I'm going to read, they are stating is Chevier, Neil Chevier. I wonder if Gayton is related to Neil. Okay, so they're saying these things are misinformation. So they're saying that their typical misinformation includes false statements like these. Grounding indoors in the presence of electromagnetic fields is harmful to health and should be avoided because dangerous currents will circulate in your body. If you ground yourself indoors by connecting to a wall outlet, dirty electricity comes through the ground cord, the grounding product you are using, and through your body, and is dangerous. So they're saying this stuff isn't true in this article. Grounding amid high electric fields in your home puts you at risk of a shock. Grounding turns you into an antenna, thus drawing EMFs into your body and harming it. Best not to ground yourself if you live in the city or suburbs because of the presence of stray voltage in the ground, a result of our electrical system feeding AC electricity into your ground. They're saying all this stuff is misinformation, but we just saw that guy doing that experiment, right? Where if he has it plugged in with the computer, it is an antenna. It's electromagnetic frequencies are coming out of it. So, but let me read you this part. So we just need to study this more. Make sure that you're just aware that you're like when you're using grounding, if it feels good and it's like, man, I'm not feeling anything negative, that feels like energy or whatever, just be really aware. So this guy, Orem Miller. We will start with Orem Miller, a certified building biology environment consultant and electromagnetic radiation specialist. In his video, why earthing is beneficial and what you should do and not do, right? So it's about doing it right, right? Mr. Miller makes a number of confused statements and false warnings. Example, if you're sleeping in an environment where you have these negatively charged ions in the air from electric fields, from man-made electricity, from voltage in your circuits, and for us it would be electromagnetic fields that our attackers are forming remotely, right? We have that extra layer. We don't just have electric fields from our computers and electronics and the wiring in the wall. We have actually, remote fields and remote beam-forming weapons, right? So we've got to think about those things. But what he says, this is kind of what it felt like. So I'm looking into it, and I'm not sure, but so he says from voltage and circuits, then those ions are going to be attracted by your body, especially if you are on an earthing matter pad, and then down that pad in the process called grounding. And it's not from touching the actual grounding, the parts of the grounding system. It's just the field, but still you become a lightning rod or an antenna for man-made voltage to get into your body down this cord into the earth, and that's not healthy. So he's basically saying like a field that my attackers are creating, it's going to want to go through my body to the grounding stuff to get out, right? Does that make sense to y'all? Like it's going to want to, my body's, it's like grounding's going to have this positive effect, but your body is going to become this lightning rod because negative ions or whatever, electricity is going to want to go through your body to get to that grounding cord and go to the grounding plug. So, let's just be aware of that stuff and look into it. And if you start feeling like worse in a weird way, kind of just don't count it out. Don't count it out as something that could be causality. Because that's what I did. I never even thought about that. In my my attackers were messing with it. Hey, what's up, Drunken Ninja? Drunken Ninja says, oh, well, Nicholas says, I wanted to make a note that none of the wires are shielded. None of the wires in our wall. Elbow cough. Dab. None of the wires are shielded. Nicholas says they are 3 parallel wires, ground, hot, neutral. However, there's no foil wrapping, encasing, everything for shielding. Okay. Yeah, Wayne Moore says they are ramping up COVID madness here again, very close to door-to-door police checks. And they're saying that CV is increasing in the States now too. Like the numbers have skyrocketed, right? And I went out today, I went to a gas station, a lot of older people going in, and I went up and I got these little breakfast pizzas. And so the guy in front of me was wearing a mask, an older guy, and it said, stay 6. So I had to get 6 feet back from him. The cashier wasn't wearing a mask, but he had the big plastic thing in front of him because this other old guy was wearing a mask, right? And so the older guy got finished and walked out, and then I brought my things up, and I looked down to put my debit card in, I looked back up, and the guy behind the cash register had put on his mask because I wasn't wearing a mask. And then it's like I walk outside, right, and this black truck starts like peeling out and revving its engine, right? It was doing this vehicular stalking, harassment to me, and I just thought, wow, we are in a complete war zone. Like we're in this complete asymmetrical warfare, insane war zone. And I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There's protests. I'm not sure. There's a couple of buildings that have been burned down, but not around where I live. But can you imagine in the places where there's like very, very violent riots and like buildings being destroyed and everything, and then people are gang stalking too, and everybody's wearing masks? I mean, we are in the deep end here. We are in just Armageddon. We're in this human Armageddon where asymmetrical warfare is just being, boom, we're going to do the pandemic. Well, first, and nobody, people should know about this, right? What we go through. And I should have figured, I kind of did figure, but everybody's being targeted, right? And secretly targeted and gang stalking, all this going on, building up under the surface, right? But when you're trying to survive, you have to have hope. Like you can't just say everything's going to get worse, because then it's like, oh my God, you're way more depressed. It's hard to survive. And things can get better, but it's like there's all that stuff under the surface. Then the pandemic comes along, lockdown, destruction of the economy, everybody wearing masks, spreads, globally, the fear of it and the deception of it. Then riots come in, then food shortage, then the power goes out, right? So we're seeing this layer after layer after layer of them wanting to create chaos and havoc in every city in the world. You know, isn't Sweden like not really, they're not doing any of the COVID stuff. I wonder if there's riots in Sweden. Maybe we should all move to Sweden. Mischievous M. Hey, Mischievous M. Okay, so Mischievous M says, Kyle, I'm going to be making an anti-nano barrel next month. It unprograms and removes nano from the entire body. The barrel is large enough to detox the entire body. So is it like a barrel that you get into? That you actually get into the barrel? How much is your, are you selling the Rife belt? Or are you just giving it out? I'm kind of interested in that Rife belt. Everybody check out Mischievous M's channel. He's coming up with a lot of defenses and working on some stuff and trying some stuff. So the anti-nano barrel is going to be kind of like that foot thing where you put your feet, you create the like the hot water mixed with stuff, and then you put your feet in it, and it's supposed to like get all the heavy metals and nano out of your body. Dude, that's cool, man. Everybody check out his channel. I'll check it out, what you're working on. We got to be creative, guys. Just come up with some stuff. Anti-nano bucket instructions. Drunken Ninja says, I don't run from a mess, I clean it up. You know, you're gonna clean all this up, you're gonna clean America up, Ninja. Dude, I want, if there was like a place like Ecuador, like if there was some place that none of this was going on, like no riots and you wouldn't be targeted, boom, I'd go. Because I've been fighting for years against this targeting. I'm freaking tired. I need to check out more of your videos, Mischievous. I will. Okay, guys, so that's the grounding spiel. Just be careful with it. And make sure you're not plugging the same things in the outlets. And just keep in mind that our attackers can pretty much manipulate anything. It was a big problem for me. It was a big problem for me that was like a building problem, which, you know, I think I'm going to, maybe try and use it again. But I'm going to make sure I do it exactly right. I don't even know. I don't trust their manipulation of the wiring around the ground. Really. Okay, so Mischievous Sim says, I left the link to all the parts for the Rife belt, but the barrel is enough to pull all that nano out. But make sure you get anti-radiation stickers for the belt if you decide to build it. Okay. So instructions to make the belt. How did you find the right concoction to pull nano out? Is it kind of basing it on previous nano-detoxes? That's really important. Like we need to be getting, heavy metals out too. Like taking chlorella, spirulina. I'm taking the iron's making a huge difference. I think I was anemic for a couple of years. And what else? There's other stuff. There's this doc of detox stuff, potassium iodide and things like that. Very, very important. Shit, I'd get out of America if there is a place where none of this is going on. It's like the stuff that's going, like the asymmetrical warfare that's going on. You can like kind of like, I think that with this targeting, we're getting to a place where we might see it come out in these countries, and all these countries might have to make a treaty to not do it this way. And that might actually, but then it's like, then we're dealing with like complete civil unrest, and it's like, how do you fit complete civil unrest, and then most of the public is deathly afraid of COVID. Like, I mean, like in our groups in the true community, people are like, yeah, I don't even wear a mask because it's like what? It's like a 0.04% fatality rate or something like that. 0.04% or 0.4% or something like that. So that's like 0.004. It's ridiculous. But man, I have people in my condo, and somebody left a comment the other day. Somebody left a comment, and I was talking about my distant relative kind of taking a step back when she saw me, and I didn't think about it. She was scared of COVID. They're exactly right. It wasn't anything about what they heard about me or thinking I was crazy. They were, because I didn't have a mask on. And so all these older people are deathly afraid of getting it. And this one guy, he's part of the homeowners association. He usually gang stalks me. He usually like will drive in when I'm walking my dog. He'll time his comings and goings for the gang stalking. But like the other night, I was going to get my mail or going to get a cold drink in the mail room, and like I saw him come into the elevators, and he like moved as far away and as quickly as he could from me. He had his mask on. He was like, because I wasn't wearing a mask. I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy, man. Stacy says, I have thought about making the anti-nano bucket before, though, but still worried I could electrocute myself. Do you have to like put some kind of charge through it? I'm gonna try that. I'm definitely gonna try it. So Mischievous M says sea salt, borax, baking soda with vinegar, and distilled water. You can use tap, but it's best not to. I think that's like a #1 thing that we should do is try and cleanse the nano and try and cleanse the heavy metal, and then that kind of changes the game right there. And then you can use things like Dave Case's CD and supplements and everything. My problem is that with the chlorella, like I took it one time, like I ate this big thing of SpaghettiOs with meatballs. And then right after I ate the SpaghettiOs and meatballs, I took my chlorella because I was like, well, it's good to take it with something that you eat, right? And I had gas and like my stomach pains, and it was definitely from the chlorella for like a day, where it was like I could not stand up. It hurt so bad. So now I'm scared to take it again. But I'm gonna do the spirulina and then maybe try taking chlorella without food or something like that. Hey Badger, what's up, man? Badger's in the house. Badger says, hey, what's up, y'all? Mischievous Sim says, you can have a gulp of water. And congratulations on 1,500 subscribers, man. I watched it after. I watched the live stream. I wasn't able to go, but congratulations, brother. Mischievous Sim says, you can have a gulp of water mixed with... Badger says, eat them SpaghettiOs. It's the best Italian food money can buy. I don't usually eat it a lot, but it was like the only thing I had in my cupboard. Mischievous Sim says, you can have a gulp of water mixed with baking soda. Let it sit there for a bit, and you will feel the nano trying to escape. So just mixing water with baking soda. I don't have any baking soda. I have the bentonite clay. I'm going to start really getting serious about that, like cleansing out the heavy metals in nano. Because I think that's going to be a huge, it collects, right? And then some people get more gallons because it's like you got fungus mixed with, it's like fungus mixed with actual metal. And that's like actual nano technologies, like little smart dust chips, and then other forms of nanotechnologies. And then you've got, heavy metal that can build up in clumps in your body. And then it's just like dirty circuit board, any kind of, and this is the weird thing too. I wonder if I have that up. It was this thing I sent it to somebody else. It's like how electromagnetic frequencies don't have electrons. Electromagnetic frequencies make electrons spin faster in things with electrons, right? So it's not necessarily electricity, but it will, things that are conductive, it makes their electrons spin faster. So, right, we have electrons in us. We have spinning electrons. Electromagnetic frequencies affect us, and they make our electrons spin a lot faster, causing like, damage to our cells, pain, heat, things like that. But it was saying that, Nicholas, there was an article I was reading, and it said that electromagnetic frequencies don't have electrons in them. Is that true? I was kind of unsure about that. I was a little bit unsure about that. Hey, what's up, True Serum? Oh, you know, I'm going to do that right now. While you're here, I'm going to make you a moderator. So I've been forgetting to do that. So let me just do it right now. I'm going to go to my channel. And then I got some things that are going to make, I'm going to show you guys some things that will make you kind of mad, that made me kind of mad. But then I'm going to juxtapose it with like the UN stating that what we say is for sure concretely happening. Concretely happening. Is this showing? Is this showing on my screen? Are y'all seeing this? Oh wait, no, it was another person that I was supposed to. I'll make True Serum a moderator. I'm thinking of strong-minded individual. Nicholas Hamlin says you have to use distilled water because it has no minerals, which allows it to absorb more if you use tap water. It already has minerals, therefore cannot take any more, and no leaching out occurs. So for the nano bath, we need to use distilled water. Or for the baking soda, when you put baking soda in it. Okay. Yeah, Nicholas Hamlin says, I would rather fight and win back our country. No, I would too, man. You know, one impossibility at a time. Lots of conversations to be had about how we save our country. For me, like as a targeted individual and my mission being like stopping the torture for us, it's like I'm kind of focused on that. Because like if we can stop this torture to us and bring these programs to light, then every targeted individual can then decide how we want to face the disasters of our society, right? So that's kind of like, I'm like, and I heard it in a show and I thought about it a long time before that. Captain Picard said, one impossibility at a time. And so I'm like, I'll talk about the stuff that's going on in society, but boom, this should be our focus as targeted individuals. Because if we can get all targeted individuals, the torture to stop and the mind control to stop, and especially revealing that mind control exists, where it can be directly affecting the mind, or on what I guess I'm calling like broadband mind control, right? Broadband, like for the riots, for protests that turn violent and things like that. How much broadband and direct mind control are used to make people feel aggressive and stuff like that. Now, there's some people who are going to do violence anyway. Antifa who planned it. Some even agent provocateur police and stuff like that. But how much does mind control, direct remote neural manipulation to millions and millions of people all over the world affect the violence that's going on now, affect leadership in certain Marxist groups and stuff like that? And then how much when you get a big crowd, and then Operation Crimson Mist in Africa, they did a whole like a broadband or a wideband mind control, certain frequencies to a whole group of people. So if we can reveal that this stuff exists, then they can't use it as much, right? And that's why it's going to be hard, because a lot of these really crazy things in society are propelled by mind control, not just propaganda, not just peer pressure and fear and stuff like that in social groups, but like actual literal directly sending frequencies, electromagnetic fields and directed energy to the brain to manipulate it, to not only read the brain, but write to the brain. And I think it's worse if you don't know about it. Like it's worse if you're getting remote neural manipulated and you have no idea. Because I see my dad, and I think that he's remote neural manipulated. He'd never admit. It's going to have to come out on Fox News, which it may. If the UN stuff, if like that UN meeting is big enough, it may come out on mainstream news. Could change everything, you know. That is my hope. Gloria Aquino says, if our thoughts generate a frequency, then it seems to me that we can create an opposite frequency to repel or cancel out dangerous frequencies being beamed at our heads. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's what Dave Case's CD and the noise canceling hearing aids, Q-wave defenders, the Schumann resonance, the Schumann resonance generators are really good and powerful. It's a natural frequency, right? The Earth's natural frequency, creating a field, and then it's harder for, you got to screw these little things in a bunch. But it creates a natural Schumann resonance that the harmful frequencies have to come through. But it's a little bit counterintuitive, Gloria, because Dave Case's CD he's used the same frequencies. He's used similar frequencies to what they use with remote neural manipulation to cancel it out. So it's not specifically opposite frequencies on an opposite end of the spectrum. He's taken similar non-harmful frequencies that line up, then neutralize it. So it gets kind of complicated what kind of frequency will cancel out another frequency. And it's usually a similar frequency, but a frequency can be similar, but not harmful, not like a microwave frequency that hurts, but it can be in that range where it matches it. It matches it non-harmfully and then cancels it out. Stacy says, taking colloidal silver can turn you blue like a Smurf. Are you turning blue, Stacy? Oh, it's like Gloria, you say, oh, I need to learn more. I need to learn more. You're talking about electromagnetic fields and beamforming directed energy weapons, and they can go all up and down the electromagnetic spectrum. You know, I've been targeted for so long, only knowing that I was targeted like 10 years ago or whatever, and it's still complicated. Some people are very good with it. Like Nicholas is very good with like, oh, it's like 2.4 gigahertz. But there's a lot of people like that, but I'm not. Like I have a hard time, gigahertz, megahertz, microteslas. It really all confuses me, you know. So Dave Case is a genius about it. I mean, he is a true genius. He pretty much saved my brain. Yeah, don't turn blue, Stacy. Iron has been really good, y'all. Iron, it feels like I'm getting more oxygen and stuff like that. I used to eat ice all the time because I felt anemic. Iron, the microwaves, like in the electromagnetic frequencies they're using, literally zap our calcium in our iron. And like, I didn't know this, but you need iron to produce ATP. ATP production is like how you feel energy. It's how you like, oh yeah, I feel energetic. If you're not producing ATP, if iron is taken out of that equation, you can get so much fatigue and you won't be producing ATP right in your body. And that's straight from Fullerton Informer. Fullerton Informer was the person who was talking about like, you need to be taking an iron supplement if you're getting hit by microwaves. So you guys want to get mad? You guys want to get mad right now? I got some videos that might make you a little bit mad here. If I can find it. I got to use the bathroom. I got to use the bathroom real quick. I don't want to play it when I'm not here because it's kind of short and I want to make fun of it. Let me put it up real quick. Let me run to the bathroom, guys. You chat amongst yourselves. I'll play it. I'll just go ahead and play it. I wonder if I can use the bathroom in time. Actually, I'm going to hold off on this one, guys. This is going to be stuff that makes you mad, but I'm going to juxtapose it. And I'm going to, say a message to these people who are making fun of us, saying that we're mentally ill. There's a lot of them. There's not a lot of them. It's kind of dwindling. Their channels are very small, but they're still doing it, right? They're still doing it, and they're like, you guys need to take your medication. When the UN is saying there is something called cyber torture, and people are being hit with direct. It's no touch torture. People are being harassed and tortured in their homes, like the UN is stating it, and these people are still saying, "Oh, well, that's just you guys are mentally ill and selfish or whatever." So they look stupid. They look stupid. Yeah, Gloria Queen says potty break. I'm gonna put something on for you guys while I go to the bathroom real quick. That's one thing. See, that's one thing I've stopped grounding, and my attackers are making me have to use the bathroom a lot more. So these positive effects that I was getting from it, I'm not, not getting those positive effects anymore. But the negative effects were outweighing the positive effects, because it was like an energy coursing through my brain, which is like right now I have energy coursing through my brain, but it's like I couldn't stop. And I don't know why I kept getting on YouTube. I was just like, oh, well, this is the remote neural manipulation is just really bad, and it's just going to get worse. So I might as well just do a bunch of stuff. If I would have known that I could like actually make it better, I wouldn't have been throwing myself in things. So, but it was fine. We put out some good information. We had some fun. And I'm going to be doing more too. I'm a little upset about some of the drama that went on recently in the community, but I don't think I'm going to talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about that later. I kind of just want to not talk about it, and like I don't want to be pulled into anything. Let's get this off the screen here.
Guys, update. It's the best.
Okay, so this is this guy Omni-Eris, and he makes fun of Kevin Christian, and he's making fun of Brian too. So Brian too, if you're watching, this isn't to harass you, Brian too. I'm just showing these idiots who think that they're really smart, right? These people are morons. I'm going to say more about this guy Omni-Eris when I get back. I hope that he goes ahead and attacks me. His channel is very small, so he's talking about all these, some people he makes fun of. It's like I can see why, but the targeted individuals, what I want to say to these people, let me say it when I get back, because I really got to use the bathroom. So you guys watch some of this.
Our last TI update was pretty popular. Did you notice that Sister Luficer changed her YouTube channel name after we put that up?
These people are losers.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I have a kind of soft spot for her because she's actually a legit retard.
Yeah.
With legit brain damage. But tattooing Luficer on your forehead, you're going to get some jokes made about you no matter what. So tough shit.
Yeah, you shouldn't use an ink pen on your own head. A hot ink pen that you just heated up with a torch lighter. We know how you did that. Anyway, so Doc, we know that Brian Chu has been parading around the world for years now. Somehow, I don't know how the hell he's funding it exactly, but Brian Chu has finally made it to the illustrious Kiwi Farms, and they have done some digging and found some really cool videos from Brian's past that we're going to show you guys before we give you the 2 update. Are you excited, Doc?
Yeah, I really am. Kiwi Farms do some great work. They're a treasure to humanity, documenting many things well worth looking into, and they've really dropped the mic on old Brian.
You know, Doc, we break the main rule of Kiwi Farms. You're never supposed to fuck with the tards, but that's the only thing that we do. So
yeah, we're a different branch of that particular service. They do their thing, and it's incredibly valuable, and we do ours.
Right,
but
we're like the FBI, and they're like the Department of Homeland Security.
Precisely correct. But Brian is fascinating because he basically, his modus operandi is to be really annoying and really whiny and pretend to be unwell to get opiates and other sedatives from multiple physicians all over the world. And then he frequently and accidentally, multiple doses, freaks out, hurts people, or gets punched in the face.
And you know what? He gets the drugs. They give him the drugs, and he's still so ungrateful. It's
okay. So this guy is saying like Brian too just is getting drugs, and he's in all these places and he's traveling around, but he's making that up. because Brian too is targeted, and he's going through, you know, crazy remote neural manipulation stuff and gang stalking stuff, which I don't know if everybody that Brian too comes into contact with who has a problem with is definitely a gang stalker, but he gets gang stalked and he gets heavily, you know, remote neural manipulated. But he's just saying this has to be, he's just guessing. This guy is just guessing that that's what it is. And this Omni Eris, I used to see his videos many years ago. I think like at the beginning of my targeting. And so his history is that he was a conspiracy theorist. Omni Eris was a conspiracy theorist. He said it like ruined his life, and he saw everything as a conspiracy theorist. So now he is on a crusade to make sure that nobody believes in conspiracy theories that are not true, to destroy their lives. So in actuality, this is what I'm talking about, unintentional evil. Unintentional evil, because this guy, Omni Eris, and even, I don't know about this other guy just seems like a jerk. They both seem like jerks. But when I'm talking about unintentional evil, you get somebody who maybe is like, well, I want mentally ill people to get help, right? So if they're looking at targeted individuals and they're mentally ill, you know, they're going to get swept up into that, and they're not going to get the kind of help they need. Only problem with that is that it's happening. So if any of you guys, Omni Eris or anybody else, making fun of targeted individuals and y'all are dwindling because it's really happening, the UN is concretely saying that it's happening. This is happening. This technology exists. There's experimentation going on. And this may make some people mad in the targeted individual community, but people are picked for a lot of different reasons. And sometimes people who have problems with drugs or alcohol are picked because they're easily discredited, right? There's many other reasons, but I'm just saying, and it's not every targeted individual, but a lot of the time they will pick to target somebody who has drug problems or alcohol problems. So and then this guy can totally put it on, oh, this is alcoholism or it's just drug use, right? They want to make it as confusing as possible when they're targeting people. So sometimes they pick people like that. Now, you know, the best thing that we can do is target individuals. And like even me, like at the time where I was overtly targeted, I was smoking weed, right? And I think they thought that I would just keep smoking weed. And weed's not bad. I'm just saying they thought that it was like doing those drugs would just cover up everything, right? So it is a good idea if you're a targeted individual and you are. I know that we have to take painkillers sometimes and stuff like that. I don't. I take kratom, right? But it is a good idea that if you're a hardcore drug user, you know, and then you're targeted, to get off of those hardcore drugs. Because nobody believes this anyway right now, and that's changing. But with that, people have a lot of ammunition to lay the blame on that, right? And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way, and those things are changing. But you see, like every time Omni Eris, you know, tries to discredit a targeted individual, he always goes to that, like, oh, they must be doing drugs, they must be a meth head, blah blah blah. And Omni Eris, I doubt he's going to watch my videos. Why aren't you coming after me? Like, why aren't you coming after me? You know, why is he not coming after me? Why is he not coming after the targeted individuals who are putting up concrete information? You know, so please come after me, Omni Eris. Please make a video about me. I would love it. I'd love to get some. Actually, I wouldn't. Actually, I wouldn't want any of this. Yeah, Drunken Ninja says kratom crackhead. Yeah, dude. I'm gonna take some kratom right now. As a matter of fact. Oh, and Omni Eris smokes weed. Omni Eris smokes weed like all the time on his live stream. This is kratom. I'm gonna take some kratom. And somebody was saying, I guess I'm not gonna talk about that tonight. I'm not gonna talk about that tonight. But yeah, this is kratom. It's an herb, so I guess it's a drug. I'm gonna take it on live stream. If not illegal. Omni Eris does psychedelics and smokes weed. Sometimes they'll smoke weed on the live stream, you know. So let's play like another minute of this though, and you see how evil it is, right? Because Brian too is being remote neural manipulated, brain rape. He's gang stalked everywhere he goes. Horrible torture, horrible 24-hour-a-day torture program. And these two guys are laughing and talking about how, oh, he's just a selfish person, blah blah. Such a horrible evil. So I just want to say to anybody doing things like Omniairs, make fun of other stuff, because targeted individuals are actually going through what we say we're going through, you know. So I just like to ask you as a smart, because like I saw some of his earlier videos and it seems like he wants to be a good guy. He wants to get people the right treatment for whatever they're going through. Now the deal is people are being targeted. They are being targeted by directed energy weapons. Signals to and from the brain, it exists. Contractors have integrated directed energy weapon systems. Infrastructure is being built. Ground weapons exist. People's neighbors do participate because they're told lies about the targeted individuals. It does exist. So if you're a good person and you want to go after bad things, then people who are being targeted by these weapons are not the bad things to go after, because it's a real situation. So that's a message that I want to give out to anybody making videos against us. Like, because I can tell some of these people, they don't see themselves as evil, right? So we can use that. Like, we can use, if some people who don't see themselves as evil and actually want to do something good are like, oh, these targeted individuals are just mentally ill and they're selfish and we need to wake them up and they need to get in. Nope, it's happening. Nope, it's happening. So if you want to go after evil things, don't go after targeted individuals, because it's a really messy situation where targeted individuals don't need to be made fun. We don't need that extra crap in our lives, you know. CT says, Kratom is illegal here in Wisconsin because we're in the Bible Belt Midwest. Badger Report says, yeah, brain rape is a much better script. It's so brain rape. And I just try and, like, because you can't justify how horrible it is, right? It's so bad, and it's such a new form, right? It's such a new form over these last, like, 50 years or really 70 years. And, I mean, it is, like, I mean, commenting on your thoughts with voice to skull, like raping in visuals, like really extremely sick visuals into the visual cortex, giving people directed dreaming. I was talking to a targeted individual tonight who was getting extremely detailed, like more real than like a movie, you know, directed dreaming, raping that into the brain, raping inner voice thoughts, you know, and keeping it on these loops. Wayne Moore says, is that loser in the attic? Yeah, that the guy, yeah, Wayne Moore says it's so brain rape. There's a show. That's a good show name, Brain Rape. Stacy says, I take Kratom once in a while. I'm trying to cut down on it. It seems to calm down everything, and it seems to change how the remote neural manipulation is affecting me. Yeah, Badger Report says they invade every last vestige of personal boundaries. Like your home, right? Your home is somewhere you should be able to go for solitude, and then your own thoughts. Like like my thoughts are like, you know, in the Russian, I don't think it was the Russian Revolution, but it was sometime after that, these Christians were brought into torture, like into like prison, and then they were tortured every day. But then at the end of the day, they would go back to their cell, and they were able to at least have solitude and peace in their mind, right? It's like a different kind of, it's like physical hitting torture and stabbing torture all day long. But I was thinking this is worse in some ways because you never have the solitude of your own thoughts, the solitude of where you live. You don't have peace there. And then you don't even have ownership. Now, and there are thoughts that we do have that we own, and our spirit we own, but it's like for our attackers to be able to really take a thought and veer over to something else, or just, you know, inject a bunch of really disgusting visuals. Then it's gotten to a point with me where I don't want to discuss some of the evil stuff they put in my head, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to say, well, oh man, they're injecting these visuals of in like talk about how horrible it is, and then people who don't believe that that's happening to you will just think it comes from your head. I mean, insult to injury, insult to injury, insult to injury. And people just have to know about this because it's coming out to everybody. The UN's talking about it. Stacy T.I. says, I don't feel any opiate effects when I take it. I don't feel opiate effects when I take kratom. It's like a very mild thing. Rose Renault says, is kratom addictive? It's probably psychologically addictive. Probably psychologically addictive, but it's not too chemically addictive, you know. Nicholas says, weed is the only medicine that I've found to help everything else. It only seems to amplify the effects of the targeting systems. I take CBD oil sometimes, but the CBD oil doesn't seem to help me as much as the kratom. Holy crap, Drunken Ninja. I wish I could get some of that. Be careful with that stuff, man. I didn't mean to go like holy crap, but like just be careful with that, because it can mess with your nervous system, and it can sometimes make the targeting bad. Amy says there are other herbs to take at bedtime also. Yeah, there's lots of, like, you know, calcium, magnesium. Those aren't herbs. Yeah, put any kind of herbs, guys, that y'all take. They can kind of calm down your brain and stuff like that, calm down your nervous system. Nicholas Hamlin says, this is all Tesla-based technology that is being used by deep state clown asshats. Tesla absolutely intended this to help humanity, not enslave it. Yeah, and they stole all the tech and then murdered him. You know, it's like anybody who comes up with a good idea, and it's even in these times, it's like people who come up with really society-changing technology. There's, or the CIA has built these different organizations, right, to go in, steal it, and kill the people who make it, so they can incorporate it into the military-industrial complex. I kind of, man, it's getting better. My side's getting better, but I was about to see if I could go get some painkillers for it. I'll just take kratom.
Not enough.
Yeah.
And he goes to these foreign countries and treats them like they owe him
Kratom
something, and everyone there is just this horrible person. Meanwhile, he's on the drug parade around the fucking globe, so...
Yeah. I mean, literally.
Where are they getting that he's taking drugs?
Inept. So Brian most recently showed us a prescription for a very powerful drug called Zopiclone, with the dosage and the frequency, and then showed us him obtaining another prescription.
Okay, so I'm not going to play that too much, and I'm not doing that to mess with Brian. I'm showing how these people don't know what we're going through. So yes, Brian is trying to do chemical shielding because it's murderous torture. So it's like we're doing anything to stop the pain. So it's like this total misconception. They're like, oh, y'all are just drug addicts, you're mentally ill or something. When you're being murdered and you just want to take some painkillers, trust me, because it's like somebody who has a bullet wound gets to take painkillers, and everybody's like, oh, well, that's not a drug addict. But we're being microwaved to death. Our nervous systems are being ripped apart. There's a justification for taking pain medication, you know, or kratom, or smoking weed, or whatever. Rose Renault says, I don't do drugs, not even weed. Good for you, Rose. I don't do drugs. Kratom is not a drug. CBD oil is not a drug. So I don't really do drugs. I think if I was in a place where marijuana was legal, I would maybe do it from time to time. Yeah, Stacey says, yes, extreme pain, like the worst, like so horrible, and they can amplify it through your brain because they're sending signals to your brain. So if they're doing pain through remote neural manipulation or external hits, then it's like they can manipulate your brain to intensify that pain. I think that's what they were doing to where I hit my side. I don't think it would have been as much, but they were remote neural manipulating my brain to send signals to that spot, my nervous system, to increase the pain. So I could like barely move. Stacy says weed is a nerve, LO. It's true. Yeah, Stacy says awful nerve pain. It's really bad. CT says horny goat weed helps the brain and blood flow too, but too much will make you aggressive. Gloria says, I pray that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. God, give us strength in Jesus Christ's name, that no weapon formed against us will prosper, and that he will put things in our path that when it gets overwhelming for the body, right, he will put things in our path that can defend it. Just give us spiritual and physical strength and mental strength all the time. Okay, so let me show you guys this one. This is the one my heart started beating really fast, and I got like my blood was boiling. I sent it to some other people. I think Slack sent it to me. It got me so pissed off. This lady does not seem like a bad person. Like, she doesn't seem like a bad person. But it's like she watches Omni Eris and she thinks it's funny, and she thinks that we're all lying or mentally ill or just doing this for attention, or grifters that are doing it to make money online. So and some targeted individuals thought that she really was a targeted individual and left comments like, hey, you can do this to help your targeting, right? Some targeted individuals were reaching out and trying to help because they really thought she was targeted.
Hey there, I'm Ronnie Mae, and I decided to start a YouTube channel because I know there are people out there just like me who are targeted and sick of it and want to fight the NWO. Okay, so I want to give you some pointers of how you can fight the NWO. You know, it's not easy to get off the grid, but we could start by becoming self-sufficient. What I have done
after what I've gone through for these last 10 years, like I literally like the fizzy, and it wasn't, my attackers were not remote neural manipulated. It was like my heart started being, I was like, my dad's head's been crushed. You know, like all the torture and like, you know, raping my brain and like hurting my body to where like I can't even walk the same. So much fatigue, being tortured and psychically driven while I'm asleep, directed dreaming, you know, isolation, constant being in electromagnetic. And this lady, this lady, listen to her more. I'm going to get the cathartic rage out for all of us. These are small, like, you know, very small channels. They're not, these channels aren't growing. A lot of people were speaking out and saying like target individuals are crazy like 3 or 4 years ago. But it went away because people learned more and learned that it was really going on. So we have these little remnants, the little remnants of people who refuse to look into anything. They live in their own little bubbles, and they're just like, anything that sounds dangerous or weird, it's the person's fault that it's happening to. You know, that's basically what we have. Nicholas Hamlin says, I absolutely am doing this for attention, but it isn't narcissistic attention. The attention is that of the people to learn the truth. I absolutely am seeking attention to spread the truth. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Nicholas. Yeah, it's not like I'm getting on YouTube to like, ooh, I like to have followers and subscribers and stuff like that. Like I've told y'all before, I would not be on YouTube probably if I wasn't a targeted individual, if this wasn't so important. So it's like, that's what it's like, when I want to grow my channel and stuff, it's for us. It's so we can get important information out, you know, or having views if somebody like having a viewership, like, you know, good views on a video, somebody comes along that's not a targeted individual, sees those views, sees good information, sees a lot of people in chat making intelligent comments about it, and they're like, oh, I need to look into this. This might be real. So I understand exactly what Nicholas is saying. Almost like sometimes don't like YouTube. I don't like social media. It feels like people with really popular, and I'm not talking about targeted individual channels, but people with really popular channels, it's like they either have really, really good information, and this is non-target individual channel, they either have really, really good information, or it's just like they're kind of narcissistic and they like to, and they feel, it's like they love people, they love attention, and it's very easy for them to do things on camera. You know, they love it, and those are the very popular channels. They love telling people what to do. That's kind of it. You know, I guess there are some channels that aren't like that. There's some channels with really good people getting out good information, have good personalities, and they're making a living doing it, or you know, they enjoy helping people. But I see more of social media as like kind of narcissistic attention grabbers. Those are the people who really excel when they love to have followers and stuff like that. And I don't like that. I'm not narcissistic. I do try, you know, I try and be entertaining and stuff like that because I'm funny, I'm smart and stuff like that. But I feel like after time, right, given my testimony over a couple of years, it's supposed to be just 5 years. I was supposed to, you know, 2014 started, 2018 or 2019. I wanted everybody to have channels talking about targeted individuals and putting out concrete data, and then I could say, okay, I'm going to get off of YouTube and you know, go to doctors, see what I can do individually to get us there with attorneys and things like that, and some of those individual things like Dr. Hoffer, but other kinds of things. But it's like I'm still like, people are speaking out. I guess my point is that after a while, it's like, oh, I'm talking about myself again, you know, because some people are like, oh, you know, there's people showing articles and stuff, and they're not talking about what's happening to them. And I'm like, after a while, for my case, after a while of saying what's happening with the gang stalking and targeting every video, it gets to be forced narcissism on myself. Like, I'm getting on a video and I'm just and it took a long time because, right, you're being murdered. And after a while, it's like, I've got to kind of try and, you know, do articles and talk about what's happening to me, but I can't. It feels very narcissistic, and I think it looks very narcissistic. Like, if you're and these are just thoughts, right? But like, if you're not a targeted individual and you're watching the targeted individual community, you're seeing a targeted individual do video after video after video after video after video of saying what's going on to them during the day, even though in reality it's very serious, and we have every right that people should know about this and for it to stop. To somebody who doesn't know what's going on, it's going to look like a selfish, narcissistic person that you know, is talking like that. That's changing, but it just, you know, social media just seems like a narcissistic endeavor to me, a little bit. Stacy TI says, I think this lady wants attention. Yeah. And she's just making a little YouTube, making fun of, she makes fun of other people other than TIs. Amy says, most TIs are probably more private peeps. Yeah, that's what I am too. Like, I'm a very private person. I don't really feel comfortable getting in front of a bunch of people. And I especially don't feel comfortable because the world is too complicated to take your own, what's going on in your own life and say, we need to do this, you know. And people have said it in my comments, and I feel like that's kind of who people are listening to. People who get up with a strong voice and they're like, we got to do this, and this is the answer for this. And people love that. They want leaders and stuff like that. And it's like, I see the world as way more complicated, where it's like, I'm doing this for my situation, but you may need to do this. God may call you to do this. And I guess that's just one angle of it. Just seems kind of narcissistic a little bit, you know, social media. Nicholas Hamlin says, I have no doubt she is being paid in gift cards to spread a narrative that was written for her. You know, maybe so, Nicholas. I don't think so, though. I think that this is just kind of like, she probably has another job. She watched Omni Eris, and it's just like she's making a little YouTube video on the side, just making fun of people that she thinks is crazy. Like, she does all these videos about this guy who thinks he's the Messiah, right? She'll make little songs about him, and she's just, this is her amusement in life. But what I want to tell people like this is, don't do it with targeted individuals. It's a very, very serious situation that's actually happening. And in a lot of targeted individuals, they don't make sense because of what they're going through is so whacked out, and it's damaging their brain and damaging their body. It's hard to make sense when something so crazy that's actually top secret is happening to you in society and nobody's talking about it. So good people, and even if you want to do humor stuff about other things, that's fine. Just don't do it with targeted individuals, because it's a very serious situation. Human lives are being lost, tortured 24 hours a day. So I can tell some of these people, they're not evil. They're literally making fun of people that they think are selfish, that they think are mentally ill, that they think are worthy of that. The thing is, though, you know, even if, and we're not mentally ill, but even if someone's mentally ill, you shouldn't make fun of them, because that's pretty serious. You know, I don't think there should be a stigma like that on mental illness. I think it should be treated as a broken arm or something like that, especially when you've experienced artificial mental illness, like somebody inducing, like with microwaves, electromagnetic fields, remote neural manipulation, extreme torture for years and years and years, depression, anxiety, and things that aren't, where it's like mental injury. You know, we need to make a sharp distinction between mental illness and mental injury. There needs to be a huge differentiation between that. Badge Report says, yeah, Kyle, you were talking about social engineering. Social engineering has grown in power exponentially since the advent of social media. Yeah, and that's what they call these people, like this guy, Penguin Zero. So many people on YouTube, they're called influencers. And, you know, they're artificially, their channels are jacked up to get millions of viewers. It's not an organic thing. I don't even think PewDiePie was an organic evolution of a YouTube channel. They're influencers that are trying to get people to think and act to think in certain ways and act in certain ways completely. And it's so disheartening, because when you're somebody who is like telling people such important information that it's like, there's mind control. There's people's brains are being read and right to, torture's going on that's non-consensual and non-voluntary, and you're getting like, you know, for a TI channel, I'm doing pretty good. A lot of other TI channels are doing pretty good for TI channels, but you got millions of subscribers and millions of views for people who are like specifically put there to run to influence people in a certain way. And a lot of them are very narcissistic. Like, they like it that they have fun. They don't care if they have to lie to them or tell them or distract them from important things in the world, if they can make their lives better and make money from it. You know, the whole system is just so screwed up. We all know it. Nicholas says, I can always tell that it is a clown off because their scripts are all the same. There's minimal deviation, and these people are just copying each other. No actual truth. Yeah. Gloria Aquino says, she probably does this when she's not following someone in her car or out doing street theater. Yeah, she might be a gang stalker. She might be a gang stalker. I think some of these people just, it's their, you know, they just they really do think that we're mentally ill, and it's like we become a natural target for them. Like, oh God, these crazy people being so selfish and talking about themselves, when we're literally really being murdered in our homes, or a lot of targeted individuals, homeless, being murdered out on the street. And it's not like something to laugh at and act like you're all high and mighty, laughing at somebody whose brain just malfunctioned. It, like, literal physical, you know, mental manipulation that's affecting the nervous system, the body, the brain of a human being. And they're like, oh, they're just crazy and selfish. So I think sometimes it's not gang stalkers who are paid. It's a natural thing that happens. but it's such a small amount. Like, I don't think that guy, and I guess in the TI community, we're supposed to do that. Like, we're supposed to be like, well, Omniers must be a gang stalker, right? But I don't think that's a good idea. I think we need to really ask, is that guy just like, because of his history? Like, I know his history, and like, he was a conspiracy theorist, and he thought it was dangerous, and he sees other people, and he's like, oh, these mentally ill people, they're learning about targeted individuals, and it's going to destroy their life. So in his case, I really don't think that he's a gang stalker. And if we say, hey, you're a gang stalker, you're a perp, and he's really not, he'll be like, oh, y'all just think everybody's perps, right? So we got to be careful about that. There are a lot of perps, there are a lot of gang stalkers, but there are actually just trolls. There are people that see crazy incidents and they want to make a YouTube channel or some fame or whatever, or just do it as a side job or whatever. But they could be gang stalkers. They could be. Badge Report says, I think of it in this way in terms of subscribers. If you can empower 100 people, that will in turn empower 100 people. That will in turn empower 100 people, and so forth. I've done my job. Yeah, yeah. I've thought about that too. It's like, you know, a lot of TI channels are getting really good views, but if just one person, like if I just have one really smart TI that like maybe didn't know something about what I said, or maybe he's like, or maybe he or she is like, oh, I like the way Kyle does his videos. That inspired. I'm going to go ahead and then makes an even better YouTube channel or documentary style stuff. You know, you can inspire or affect one person. So keep that in mind, guys, where you're like, it takes a long time to build up a channel. It takes a long time to do anything. Even if you're getting like 200, 300 views per video, even if you're getting like 150, even if you're getting like 50 views per video or 30 views per video, like 2 of those people could be like really, really smart and creative. And they're like, I really resonate with that person. I'm going to go ahead, make a YouTube channel, or I'm going to go ahead and do this other thing. So it's not all about the quantity of people. It's about like who you can motivate, you know, who you can motivate. Yeah, definitely, man. Hey, Jared. Jared says, hi, everybody, especially Stacy. Hey, Jared. Alan says, hey, Kyle, has Ella Free been doing her podcast lately? I am not sure. I haven't checked on that. I have not checked on that. Let's see. I'm sure she is. I'm sure she's still doing her Tuesday and Thursday. I need to kind of go in and see what she's doing. Yeah, Badge Report says quality overcomes quantity every time. Yeah, and for TI channels, it's like we are the. And I know this sound like it's a little bit more complicated than this, but the Pentagon actually it has influence over how Google censors, and YouTube is under Google. YouTube is under Google, and it has censorship rules. And the Pentagon actually has decision-making abilities in that pyramid. So what do you think is going to happen to targeted individuals who make a lot of sense and a lot of people? What do you think is going to happen? You think YouTube's going to really skyrocket their videos out in the algorithms? No, and they're not going to do it in a way like, you know, I don't think they're going to do it in a way where it's so obvious and just if you don't do anything wrong, just take down your channel because you're talking about target individuals. They really want to treat us as like, so people don't see that they're reacting to us. So like shadow banning and stuff like that. They don't want people to see them like openly getting scared about our information because that would then validate us. So they want to do whatever they're going to do in a very in the shadows way, right? Which matches along with the microwave torture, the remote neural manipulation, the gang stalking. They do it in this way where they're destroying your life, and it's not somebody like punching you in the face. For some targeted individuals, they get punched in the face, but it's nothing you can be like, look, this person's doing it, and look, you can see what they're doing. So it just lays the blame back on you. Since nobody can see it, it just must be you're mentally ill. So they've learned to do this with asymmetrical warfare, to hit the victim, to blame the victim, to make it this completely one-sided destruction of a person or of a person's mind or both. Or like in gaslighting, somebody attacks you and you didn't do anything, and then they just keep attacking you, and then you're like, what's going on? And they just keep attacking. It's like out of nowhere, and it's just this one-sided gaslight where you didn't even have to do anything. Like you didn't do anything. You don't know what's going on, and then it's just like that, you know.
So I have planted a garden, and look at here. Chop, get out of the garden.
Yeah, MC Cali 70 says silent weapons for quiet wars.
As you can see, I have planted beans, peppers, tomatoes, zucchinis, broccoli, and cauliflower. I had the idea to do this because I already had some vegetation on the property when I bought it. Surprise, surprise, I got grapevines. And I also have blackberry bushes. Don't look like they're doing too well though. I'm learning. We'll figure that out as time goes by. If we're not dead by next year, we'll see. Oh my God. I think they just hit me again.
That's what made me so upset, because like literally, like I'm hit in the chest all the time. It hurt so bad, and it's been for years without stopping. And then there's even worse stuff through the brain to the nervous system. And this lady's like, oh, I've been hit. So what does she think's going on? Does she think targeted individuals are just faking it to get money? Or does she think like, I'd like to hear what she thinks is going on. Or is she just copying Omniairs? You know, that makes my blood boil. And for if you people that are doing this, if you're not, I don't even want to say that. I want to say if you're good people and you're just trying to make fun of something, please stop doing it with targeted individuals. I'm going to show to juxtapose this crap right here that we're seeing. We need to all get cathartically really angry about this. But then I'm going to juxtapose it with what the UN is concretely saying about what is happening to us. So maybe these people can watch my video and say, oh, this is something that's actually real. And then go back to making fun of the person who thinks he's Jesus Christ or whatever, thinks he's the new Messiah. That's fine, whatever, but not targeted. And I don't even make fun of him, because he may actually have mental problems or whatever, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to make fun of people who have mental illness. You know. So.
I'm strong. My spirit is stronger than theirs.
Yeah, Gloria says, I bet she's a miserable person. She seems mean-spirited.
You're a targeted individual. You want to talk to me? You want to compare notes? You want to come up with ways?
Laughing.
Bought that NWO? Please.
Screw you, lady.
Me. Just message me below this video. That'll get the ball rolling, all right?
Why don't you help us? Why don't you help people and really, really just, it'd take you a day. It would take some of these people a day. Just look up UN cyber torture, look up James Giordano, look up Robert Duncan, look up Barry Trower, look up Brian too. I mean, well, some people are like, they're trying to discredit Brian. Look up these things. It's really happening. It would take you a day to just look into it. If you are a moral person at all, now if you're an evil Satanist in reality, then yeah, I guess you're going to do this and keep doing it. But if you're a good person, you think you're making fun of some people that are just selfish and mentally ill, look into this stuff. Look into the stuff. It's really happening. And it's not happening to people who deserve it. If you're going to go to that part where you're like, well, maybe it's happening, but it's probably some shitty people in society. It makes us look shitty because we're being murdered all the time. I think some of these people that are like cyber stalkers, community-placed agents, perpetrators, they see that we're like dying and like maybe anxious, or maybe we don't trust people, and they're like, oh, well, they're crappy people anyway, so maybe they just, so it's like this feeding into itself, right? So throw all that off, and sometimes TIs act angry or depressed or anxious because they're being hit with severe integrated directed energy weapon systems and neuro weapons. pulses to the vestibular system of the brain, to manipulate the brain. So think about what we're trying to do when we're being tortured and it's hard to think and we're getting on YouTube and putting ourselves in front of people. Think about that. Try and have a little bit of empathy. And soon I think the UN's going to do some stuff where it's like, at least there will be investigative teams where the equipment will start to get a lot better to actually visualize what's going on. There's already things where you can visualize wireless frequencies, where you can pick them up, like Lookout for Charlie does, and a lot of other people do, and you can measure them. But I think they're going to come out with some very simple things, some simple tools where you will have a screen that can pick up and visualize any electromagnetic frequency. I think we need to look for that. I think it already exists right now, those things that can actually visualize it, but they're a little bit expensive. But that market, the market for these things is going to grow. The investigation is going to happen. And then we're going to have things that you can maybe just be holding something with a screen and it can show any stream of electricity or electromagnetic field. That is completely not a pipe dream, not a fantasy. It's already something they have, but it's just about the market, like making that, manufacturing it and streamlining it and making it more compact and less expensive. So have hope, guys. The market for these defenses and tools to read this stuff is growing exponentially because more people are being targeted. So you got all this stuff happening, and I guarantee you things are going to change soon. Badger Report says the Nazis deposited a large gold reserve from what they stole from Europe in World War II, and they are now at the top of the hockey stick, so to speak, and they are cashing out for their plan. The Nazis? You're talking about the Federal Reserve? Stacy says she specifically attacked another TI in one of her other videos. Yeah, I saw that one. I can't find Christina's videos because there's so many people with the same name as Christina, like her last name. But yeah, she was specifically attacked. I think Christina had said some stuff about her after she made fun of targeted individuals. She could actually be a paid perpetrator, like a cyber stalker. I try and just, there are a lot of those people. Like I think Chief Handler's actually paid, and there are a lot of, there's a certain percentage of fake TIs. It's not as many as everybody's saying, which I think is dangerous because I think people going, everybody's a fake TI, and there's only a couple of real TIs. What that's going to do is real TIs are going to not trust real TIs. That's all that's going to do. There is like maybe 5% of cyber stalkers and fake TIs in communities, maybe making some videos and stuff like that. But it's just like I've been in the TI community for years and years and years. TI community, or whatever you want to call it. And it's not everybody. It's not like 95% of people are fake TIs. It's more like 5% seems high to me. I'll maybe go like 7%. That's very high for me. I actually think it's like 3 to 4%. And I think that number lessens as this starts getting more and more real to people. They start taking those people out of there because they realize they're not going to be able to discredit it. It's coming out from the UN. Like just take, for example, when I started making targeted individual videos, it was 2013, 2014, 75% of my comments were people telling me that I was mentally ill. Maybe about half of that 75% were actually paid to do that. Were paid to discredit me because it was a time when they could do that. Now what's happening is it's coming out and it's so real, and people are starting to understand that's happening, that to spend money in justification on a bunch of fake people coming in and trying to discredit us is useless. It's useless because we're steamrolling, right? Like, look at this live stream. Like, I'm not saying everybody in my comment section is a real targeted individual. Maybe they are, but I would say it'd be a very, very small percent. You've got that big percent of targeted individuals in the comment section saying real stuff about what they're going through, putting in intelligent comments, So one person making some kind of shitty comment or something like that, it's not going to do much, and they're not going to be able to justify so much of that. So we need to be aware of how these things are changing over time. We don't have concrete data on it, but like I surveil the terrain, and I can see. Now, I'm not saying that fake TIs don't exist, but honestly, you know, what happened with Next, and like, I'm very angry about that, because on his spring cleaning video, he was talking about a couple of people he was having problems with, and then intertwining some of it about me. And I think that gets confusing to people, and their imaginations start going, and they're like, it really makes me mad, because I didn't do anything to him. And I think this whole perpetuating everybody's a fake TI and everything like that, that's what it does. Like what Next did, like, and honestly, guys, like, honestly, did it on the 3,000 subscriber live stream. I was drinking and stuff like that. He came in, like, after that, the first thought that went through my head was, did Next set me up? Because I didn't talk behind his back. I didn't do anything. I don't know where that came from. And maybe he has some other things with other people that he's going through. But my first thought was like, did he set me up? If you watch his spring cleaning thing, he's saying like, oh, and people's talking about defenses that don't even work. Saying like binge drinking and I was like, where, what is he talking about? No gaslighting here. No gaslighting. I've never talked behind Nex's back. So that it seems like he's saying, I think that's a problem we're going to have if we think everybody's a fake TI. That whoever accuses whoever first is kind of like, oh yeah, everybody, yeah. But when that person may have not even done anything, that really upset me, y'all. I felt, but I thought about it, and I was like, well, no, I don't think he set me up. He really does think people are talking behind his back. Like, he really, and he has problems with other people. I'm just speaking for myself. I haven't been running smear campaigns. I'm very clear about what I do in my videos. I'm very, very clear about, like, I'm getting targeted severely. When I can do stuff and work with people, I will. But I got to kind of take care of myself and my target. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, I don't. And then the people on the live stream, he was saying we were like, that people were talking about him, but they literally were just in chat and came on spontaneously. So I'm very upset about that. I feel like I was the one attacked, and then he's like making it out like somebody was attacking him. And no gaslight, right? I don't want to gaslight anybody, but I don't want that kind of environment where if you're a targeted individual that's not doing anything to anybody, somebody with maybe like a channel can just say anything they want about you, and it's like, oh, okay, well, everybody thinks I'm a perp now or whatever. I was very, very angry. Like, and I'm just gonna say it plainly, because like it made me upset. That video he made, the spring cleaning video, made me upset because he was speaking in such general terms about a couple of different people and situations that I don't even know about, but sprinkled in there were things where I think he was referencing me and what he perceived that I was doing to him. So it's like people just, people that don't know about what's going on and don't know that I didn't do anything to Next will just have this story going in their head. I think that is really irresponsible to have a YouTube channel and to do something like that, and to do it, because I was drinking and it was a celebratory live stream. To come in and do it like that, and then make this video like he's being attacked, I was very, very angry about that. And I just want to be straightforward about it, because I'm always straightforward. Like, I get attacked, I kind of will stop making videos, but I'm not screwing with anybody. That's the last thing. That's the last thing that I can deal with. So I don't know, that's really the kind of stuff that's not going to get us there. I think those videos may get a lot of views. Like, people will be like, oh, well, oh, that's interesting. It's some drama or something like that. But when somebody's not doing anything to you, you can't just make up a whole scenario, because it took up headspace. Like, it took up space in my head that I need to be thinking of how to get us out of this crap and how to do live streams. Like, so, and I'm not saying like, at first I was like, he just set me up. He put somebody in the chat to say something bad about him and then started attacking me, and this was all set up. And then I was like, no, wait, no. He really does think some people were talking behind his back. He may think I was talking behind his back or something. So like, I'm going to try this. I'm just mentioning it here because that really upsets me when I'm not doing anything to anybody. And that whole stuff. And I guarantee you a lot of people who watch my channel, they're like, what are you talking about, Kyle? We didn't even watch that video that Next put out. But man, when you are remote neural manipulated, people, keep in mind, you better have, somebody better have really done something to you. If you're going to make up a whole scenario and accuse people of stuff and say you're cleaning your hands of them and all this stuff, it was, you know, because I have remote neural manipulation. So if I'm in a negative situation, a negative encounter where I didn't do anything and somebody's blaming me for something, my attackers will take that negative feeling and they will keep re-injecting it so that I have to deal with it all the time. So like, I know that some people, they're like, oh, Kyle's such a pushover and stuff like that. No, I got to prioritize. I've got people trying to murder me. I've got to come up with some creative ways to get us to a better spot because, you know, society's kind of falling down. I don't have time to have fights with people in the community, you know? So I just want to let everybody know that on the surface. I want to say it plainly, and I think we should all speak plainly. All speak plainly, and if you think somebody's doing something to you, do ask them about it, like, and let them explain it. And if they are perp, they're gonna lie to you or whatever. But if they're a real TI, they can explain like what's going on. If you think that they're doing something to you, like if Next would have came to me and said, "Hey man, are you messing with me? You're talking behind my back," I could have been like, "No, dude, I haven't been making videos for a while because I'm so sick with the targeting." And then, you know, that live stream, those guys just came on, you know, they were in the chat. We talk sometimes, but nobody's talking about you, you know? So that really made me mad. No, I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah, Badger Report says, and I don't want to make it about that. I'm not trying to attack Next. I'm not, so guys, you know, you don't have to jump in. You can say what you think. This is not, but see, now it's like that. Because he was saying like, oh, and they're going to say it's my fault. So if I try and defend myself and people say, look, no, that didn't happen. Now he's going to be like, oh, see, and they're coming after me. Like, so I don't know what to do. Like you know, I'm gonna probably not say anything about it after this. I almost didn't want to say anything, but it's really been bothering me. Because when you're a targeted individual, you're going through hell. Like literal hell. Like I didn't think I'd be able to do you. I'll tell you the truth, guys. Let me be honest with you. That Love You 3000 live stream, that was my goodbye. That was going to be my goodbye. I was like, I can't do it anymore. Like my brain is not working. But then I changed up some things. I feel better. I'm rethinking it. But after what happened that night, I was like, I can't just go out on that because it was like a full-blown attack, you know. But the person who was saying they don't want division and stuff was the one doing it. It was like, what the hell is going on here? So just like if you maybe have questions with someone, just ask them about it. Like, because I don't even know where that was coming from, you know. And I'm not talking about problems maybe Next has with other people. I'm talking about me. You know, on that spring cleaning video, he was talking generally about a bunch of people. And then throwing in stuff about, like, I think maybe the binge drinking, his defenses don't work. People only talk bad about him because on that live stream, when he said, you know, somebody was talking shit in your chat about me. He's like, you got a lot of perps in here. So somebody's talking shit about me in the chat. I was like, yeah, I have people talking bad about me. I had to take a month off because, like, you know, some people were, you know, throwing me shade and stuff like that. And that's what I was referring to. I wasn't referring about to the fight that he got into. Like, I've almost been shot by cops. My brain has been smashed in, like horrible, you know, heat all over my body all the time. Like my heart, like sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna wake up. And I just don't know where that came from. Like, I mean, if he has problems with other people, whatever, I don't want to speak to that. But like, it feels like he thinks I'm somehow involved. And that's not fair, man. That's not fair. Because like, people don't know what's going on. Like, they just watch our YouTube channels. And so somebody could, targeted individual could really like next. Like, I saw some comments that were like, and I don't want to call the guy out because I know the guy, he's a good guy, and he probably didn't know what the hell was going on. But he was like, out with the old, in with the new, I'm on your side, Next. And Next is talking about not creating division. Like, what are you doing? You're creating division out of nothing. Like, I didn't do anything to you. And now you're like spring cleaning and saying all these people did you wrong. Like, be careful about that. Like, I know there's real fake TIs, there's people that screw each other over. But if you see somebody just staying in their lane and doing their thing, try not to just imagine that they're doing something to you. Like, you might be like, you might have had other bad situations where people talk shit about you, but maybe question it at that time, right? Because like, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And I don't want to make a thing about it. I guess it's maybe going to become a thing, which I don't want. It's been really bothering me. Like, because like, if you're TI, you're really working hard, and then somebody just like, oh man, these people have been talking about it behind my back and stabbed me in the back, and I don't even know what he's talking about, but a lot of people will think like I did something to him. And that's what I want. Like, that's why I'm careful about just saying perp all the time and all this stuff. I want to be careful so we're logical and that we don't hurt each other TI to TI. Like, so sometimes I see people and they're like, everybody's a perp, everybody's a fake TI. You know what that's doing inside of the head of real targeted individuals that watch those videos? They're like, it's not even, I'm not going to make videos. I'm not going to, speak out. I'm not going to connect with people because everybody's fake. It gives them an excuse not to do anything and to be like, yeah, that's what I thought. Everybody's a fucking fake. It's bad. It's really bad. It creates a bad cycle, and we need to be logical about it and say, like, some people do bad stuff and they're TIs and they annoy us or whatever. Or some people, you may think they're doing something to you and they don't know what you're talking about. So I had to do that. Sorry. I had to. So I've been thinking about that a lot. It really bothered me. Yeah, Glory Queen says, and I'm not accusing Nex of anything, man. Drunken Ninja says, it's TI Karen. You talking about me, man? You saying I'm a TI Karen? I don't. I just want to. I want to say like I don't like it, and I don't think it's good for the community. Gier says God is protecting you and us. I don't know what is going on, so someone please tell me. It's not a big deal. I think it's pretty much blown up, but it's just like I felt like the way that he was doing things, it was like accusing me of backstabbing him, and I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe he's talking about other people sometimes, but he was intertwining things that were definitely about me in this spring cleaning video he made. And so I just want to say, I guess my bottom line is I just want to say, and I don't want to attack Next. He does some good videos and stuff like that. He's putting out some good work. And I want him to do good. And I don't know exactly what he's going through in his life, but I just want to say, like, I didn't do anything to him. Like, I haven't been really interacting with a lot of other people doing videos lately. So I just wanted to say that, it was going to come out sooner.
I get it. Our souls are so valuable. They just want to drain every ounce of goodness that we have. Either that or they want to. I'm a little confused about what they do with the souls. Sell them? Are they living through me? I don't know. All I know is they're attacking me constantly.
Back to this lady and hating her, so we don't fight amongst ourselves.
Let's work together for stronger.
So she's making fun of like when we're dying, trying to be unified and stuff like that.
Y'all have a great day.
If you're not evil, lady who's making these videos, You might want to get off the targeted individual subject. And guys, it's really been bothering me because I don't want people like, my whole thing is stay in my lane, do good work, promote other people's channels. I've got people murdering me with microwave weapons. I've got people gang stalking me. I can't afford to have a back and forth or talk behind people's backs or them talking behind my back or whatever in the target individual community. So I'm not going to be doing that stuff. But I want to say, like, I'm not trying to attack Nex. That's not the point of what I did. So please, everybody in chat, and from now on, do not attack Nex. Don't be like, oh, well, you screwed over Kyle. I think that he really thinks that people were talking behind his back. So I just want to clear up that I didn't do anything, and I don't want to attack him or start anything like that, And he like in the spring cleaning thing, he was talking about some other people and stuff like that, but he was definitely saying things that I was like, that sounds like perceptions he has of me. So I just want to clear that up. Badger says, when you see a clear pattern over a long period of time of someone who engages in reaction-seeking behavior only to flip the script and claim to be a victim, they are a narcissist. I don't want to get, and everybody can say what they want to in the comments, but this isn't an attack. It's not an attack. Like, yeah, that's it. I am too, and I am too. Drunken Ninja says Nex is probably just a little bit paranoid. I am too. I understand. That's why I just want to say I wasn't doing that. Like, I haven't talked to him in a while because I've been doing my own thing and, isolating a lot. So maybe he did think that kind of stuff was going on. Maybe it's happened to him before. Maybe he's having problems with other people. But I just want to say I didn't do that, to make it clear to people, because, targeted individuals come on these videos and it's like targeted individuals that like Nex, he's going to say like, oh, yeah, man. Oh, man, they're ganging up on me and just screwing me over. And they'll just be like, yeah, that actually happened. So we got to be careful. Like, somebody actually has to do something to you before you do that, right? Tanya says, Kyle, sorry what happened on your 3000 show. It was a good show. That was a great little celebration. And it wasn't a big deal or anything like that, but it was like, I can't end it on that. I can't end it because, and I don't know what I said. I haven't even gone back and watched it. Drank a bottle of wine. It was the worst time for somebody to come on there and be like, hey, you got a lot of perps in here. And like, oh, I don't know what to say. We were just hanging out. So it's like he picked that perfect time. And I actually did. In my head the next day, I was like, dude, that guy just set me up. That was like a setup. I thought about it more and I'm like, no, Nex didn't do that. It was just bad timing. And he really does think people are talking behind his back. I'm paranoid sometimes too. Like, how can you not be paranoid when you're being gang stalked all the time? There are actually COINTELPRO agents. There are community-placed agents. But I think that is, as long as we move forward and if we do this whole thing about fake TIs, they're going to send in more people because they're going to be like, oh, okay, they're still on that. They're still on that. They're still on the fake TI. So send in a bunch of people to call this person a perp and to call this person a perp, keep them divided. Oh, we can justify the expense of doing that. But if we just keep moving forward and we get really serious stuff like this UN thing, you'll see those people go away. I used to have Tom Green, Chief Handler, all these people come into my channel, and I just didn't give them any oxygen. I dealt with the people that I thought were real TIs, and eventually it just kind of goes, just kind of sloughs off, Badger says, toxic is toxic. Surround yourself with people who engage in direct and honest communication. I think that's good. That's a good comment for everybody. Just talk to each other. But like now, it's like I feel like I have to say something on a video because he's saying like I'll kind of, and I'm not like lurking around watching his videos. Like I'll sometimes go and watch a video to see like what he's thinking, like what does he think happened, you know? And so he talks about a lot. It's in his mind a lot about like, oh man, I've been backstabbed so much. I just want to say I'm not one of the people who's backstabbing. I don't have time or energy to do that. And it actually is it's a real detriment to me because like I feel negative. I'm like, oh, next feels like I did something to him. Oh, people are gonna think that I did something next, and maybe I can't help some people on my channel because they're gonna be like, oh, that guy's a fake or whatever. And so then my attackers take that bad feeling that I would maybe have for a little while, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna re-inject that over and over again. So I can't afford to have like negative clashes with people who are not murdering me or gang stalking me. You see, so and some people may see that as like, oh, we're just a pushover or whatever. No. I've got to prioritize who I'm fighting here, right? It's very smart to do that. Drunken Ninja says fake TI talks in chat and potentially leaks a top secret program, then goes to jail for 35 years. Not likely. Yeah. Who's that? You think, am I going to go to jail for 35 years? Yeah, ME says confusion and mind games is part of this psyop. Definitely. And that's why, you know, a lot of people have kind of given me pushback on my idea, guys. I think it would be a good thing to initiate. I vow, I take an oath, I swear on the most important things in your life, like the lives of your children, the lives of your family, your grandparents' graves, something that I am a targeted individual. I'm going through this because the logic of it is if you're a real targeted individual, it's like swearing on your grandparents' graves that the sky is blue. But, and then some perpetrators may lie about it. They may be just that not caring about anything. But I think a lot of cyber stalkers and community-placed agents are ex-military. They somehow think that they're still honorable people. So it may make some of those people uneasy and kind of go away, or you know, but it'd have to be like I don't think it's going to work because every targeted individual would have to agree to do it. But you know, it's like, oh, I swear to God that the sky is blue. What's the problem? Like it's kind of weird, but it's not like we won't talk about that tonight. And I said what I wanted to say. I'm glad I got that out. And I usually would have just talked to Nex about it, like if he just talked to me. But since he made a bunch of videos about it and he's constantly talking about it, and people may think that I did something to him, like I want to say I didn't do anything to him. And like I didn't know that that person said anything about him. You know, I would say, hey, stop talking crap about Nex or get out of here, you know. Gloria Quina says, Emmy, I was in a relationship with a charming, fun guy, and then his mask fell off and he turned into a demon. All the characteristics of a malignant narcissist. Almost killed me in a rage. Oh, I'm so sorry, Gloria. It's awful. And there's so many more people in society who are either that in the first place or being turned in to narcissists and stuff like that because of trauma and things like that. Drunken Ninja says, oh, okay, yeah. No, people saying perps in chat sometimes. Yeah, we just got to be logical as possible. They're real targeted individuals, guys. And what my thing is this, because we tend to see the negative things because we're being tortured so badly and our minds being kind of twisted in anxiety and worse things. But we need to focus on like our bonds as real targeted individuals. Focus on there's a big percentage of real targeted individuals. Because like if my mind was completely on like, oh, there's some fakes in here and they're, you know, they're gonna screw with me, right? I'd be like, I can't do these videos anymore. But I try and focus on like there are real targeted individuals that are really good. And if we all focus on that and try and move upfield, and we don't have, you know, video after video of like everybody's a fake and the whole TI community is just a lie and it's a sham and blah, blah, because what you're doing is every targeted individual is coming in there and they're believing you. They're like, yeah, I like this YouTuber. Yeah, everybody's fake. So I'm going to leave. So I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to make my own YouTube video. I'm not going to, do anything to fight this targeting. It's all hopeless because everybody's a fake. And like, I'm the only real TI. People get that mindset, and that's not true. It's a very small percentage of fake TIs. A lot of people doing these channels are real. Now, we're all going through different stuff. Sometimes I look at other people's channel. I even look at Nexus channel, and I'm like, what is he going through? Because like my body is being shredded, like my mind is being shredded, and it looks like, and I don't know what he's going through, right? There's many different protocols. So like, we got to be careful with that kind of stuff, right? I mean, it's horrible. Like, and I'm not sure, because he's speaking so generally that I was like, is he questioning that I'm a targeted individual? Like I didn't even know, because it was so general, and so people could just use their imagination on what was happening, and it's not smart. It's not a good idea. And I'm not saying Nex isn't smart. I'm saying that's not a smart thing. It's some good, I guess it's some good drama to get views or whatever, but he's saying all this stuff that's bad. Division is bad. Just accusing people is bad. Just making videos to get views is bad. But it's like, that's when you're doing drama where it's somebody didn't do anything to you. It's kind of what you're doing. And you should think about that. We may talk someday. I'm upset right now, and I'm not trying to attack Nex. He does awesome panels and stuff like that. So I want to make it very clear. I'm not attacking him. I'm not telling anybody else to go and do his comment section and attack him. And I hope that he does very well on his videos. He gets a lot of real targeted individuals speaking on his interviews and things like that. And I only want him to do better. I just want to make that clear. I'm not backpedaling, Badger. I'm not backpedaling. I'm saying exactly what I want to say. And I am not attacking Nex. It's not my job to do that. I'm a targeted individual. I don't want shit with anybody. It's not my job to judge what other people are going through. It's not my job to attack them. I just want to make it clear to everybody that I didn't do anything to him, and then people can make up their own minds about the situation. I'm not backpedaling at all. How am I backpedaling? Badger Boy says you're backpedaling now, Kyle. You're showing your backside. You're telling them you are weak and opening yourself up for attack. Be ready. What are you talking about, man? Badger Boy says you can't pander to him. I'm not pandering to a mob. I'm saying I didn't do anything. I'm saying I didn't do anything. And I'm done. I'm done with that. I don't see your point. I don't see your point. I do things in a balanced, honest way. And I don't want to do anything to intensify negativity. I don't want to do anything to be like, oh yeah, I'm on this side and let's go after that side. I'm not going to do that, because that's exactly what evil wants us to do. And that's exactly what the New World Order wants us to do. And that's exactly what people who want the TI community to be torn apart, or just TIs in general torn apart, that's what they want us to do. They want us to call each other perps and everything like that. They want us to say, well, this is my side, I'm going after it, and I'm not doing that. Just not doing that. But you can think whatever you want, Badger. You can talk about it on your channel if you want. This is how I'm going to talk about it. People want to attack me for it or whatever. I think I shouldn't have said anything. That's honestly, but I needed to. I needed to get it out because it bothers me. But no, saying anything about it, we could have some perps, like some fake TIs, come in and try and sow more discord. Maybe go into Nex's comment section or come into mine and try and beef something up, right? So that's a bad thing. When I didn't do anything, and it could, like, because I'm saying I didn't do anything, some people could come in and try and stir shit up. It's a bad idea. Make sure somebody's doing something to you is all I'm saying. Like, all I'm saying is make sure that somebody is doing something to you, that it's not somebody who didn't do anything to you. Because maybe we all get a little bit paranoid if people are talking behind our back or whatever, but maybe they're not, This is green apple. I'll show you my favorite kind. Favorite kind, lychee ice. It's like strawberry cream. That's good. That's good stuff. Gotta quit them soon though. Oh man, I put it with all the other ones. Yeah, we're going to talk about, so Badger said, yeah, man, I thought we were talking about the bankers. Okay. We're going to go back to it. I want to show you, Honey Badger don't care. Honey Badger don't care. Vulcan Wolverine don't care. I want to speak out against evil, and Nex is not evil. Like, I mean, when we're talking about society, right? We're talking about society and what's going on with the riots and everything. We really do need to speak out. But everybody speaking out about evil needs to make sure that they're not generalizing another side, and they're not making the conflict worse, right? So we really need to be careful. Like all the logic-minded people, black, white, brown, yellow, we all need to kind of get centered in the center with logic, with love, with compassion and helping each other, and stay off of those extremities, right? Stay off of this, oh, we're going to war against this side, because that's what a lot of people are doing. White and black people are now polarizing. White people are getting they're getting mad. They're getting incensed that it's like, oh, wait, I mean, like, this isn't unity at all. It's like, I can't say anything. I can't say anything about anything because, like, I'm genetically evil or whatever. And the other side is like, oh, man, you know, this has been going on to us for so long, and it's really white people's fault, right? So it's becoming this polarized thing. And in everybody of all colors who's logical and loving and wants to fix things, we have to get together and lock arms in the center of logic, right? Hey, Jack. Jack says, did Vegeta beat Moro? I gotta watch those. Like, I've always wanted to watch those Dragon Ball Z things. Hesh74 says, I don't see the point either. Okay, let's do one more. I wanted to go through a lot of the stuff about the UN, but I'll do that next video. Guess it won't matter. I wanted to juxtapose these people, you know, talking crap about us. Yeah, Drunken Ninja says, Kyle, when are you going to start streaming games? I was thinking about it. I'm getting an off of eBay. I'm getting a PlayStation 3 because my PlayStation 3, like PlayStation 3, like old school, my PlayStation 3, the CD thing is messed up, so it won't play CD games. And I have all these old CD or disc games, right, that like I haven't played in years. So I got like a PlayStation 3 with like 500 gigabytes for like $50 off of eBay, 2 controllers, 12 games. And I was thinking I'd get I'd maybe on my Vulcan Wolverine 2 channel, I'd maybe have gaming sessions, you know. I guess I could just do it on this. I think Wayne Moore says, I wish I could stream games. I think all you got to do, Wayne, is get, all you got to do is just get a little connection from the video game system to your computer, and then probably this could do it. Probably Streamlabs could do it. Maybe I'd have to get on Twitch. Maybe I could get on Twitch, guys, and start making money, because I'm a pretty good video game player. I just don't want to, like, I guess what I'd have to do is pick a game that I've played a lot maybe, and play it on Twitch, and then when I'm playing video games for fun, not play that video game. I just worry about it's a thing I do to relax, and I don't want it to become like a stressful job thing, you know. Maybe I should do that on Twitch, guys. Just do a channel, talk about targeted individual stuff. You guys could come, non-targeted individuals could come if they want, and then maybe I could take donations and stuff like that. It could be really fun. I'm gonna think about it. I need to get creative with making money, you know. I don't know. I'm feeling more like, seriously, guys. Like, it was like I changed up something like what I was talking about at the beginning, and it's completely different now. Like, and so I'm feeling more hope, but it's weird. It's like this weird thing because everything's getting worse in the world, right? But we're seeing a light at the end of our tunnel. Now, it seems like with the targeted individual situation, it's not, what's that term they use in war? No end in sight. Like, it's been no end in sight for so many years, right? And it seems like there's an end in sight. When he says, I just fell over. Tanya Bauer says, Freedom, I hope you have a beautiful day. Yeah, Freedom. If I didn't say hey to you in chat, sorry about that. I'll say hey next time. I get distracted. So let's show one more. We're at like 2.5 hours. And then for my next live stream, thank you, Tanya. Tanya says Kyle is smart, a peaceful man. Try to be. I'm trying to do as best I can. It's what we all can do. I'm not perfect. Like, and I don't want anybody to think that. Like, I'm not a perfect person. Y'all saw me. I get drunk sometimes. I thought it was fun. Like, if I just don't do it every day, it's like fun to drink some wine and get drunk. And what makes me kind of mad is now I'm like, well, I can't get drunk on streams anymore because I have to defend myself. Like, I mean, I can't just have fun and like I have to be on the defense, right? If somebody comes at me with accusations or something, I got to be ready for that. And that's what I don't like about social media. Even if you just want to mind your own business and you want to promote other people's channel, but you want to do your own thing, it's like sometimes you're not even doing anything and people come at you, man. And they may really think that you did something to them. No gaslight, like not gaslighting anybody. You know? Way More says, Kyle, come on our pod soon. Definitely. But you guys let me know the next podcast y'all are doing. Y'all, it's an awesome podcast. Please, guys, go check it out on Wayne Morris's channel, and then in Jeff O, put in Jeff O targeted individual because there's a couple of Jeff O's. Thank you, Gloria. Try and be as genuine as possible. Like, and that's the thing. Like, Nex was saying something about like people who are fake and don't really believe in God and act like they do. I don't think he was talking about me there. I don't know, but that's not me. Like, I'm not trying to be fake. Now, what I do, because like I'm not always like when I'm like living my normal life, right? Like, I'm not like always constantly talking. But when you make a YouTube channel and you want to get subscribers and like get out of this targeting and make something people can watch, like you're gonna kind of be a little bit different. But I'm not like faking who I am. I hope that he was not talking about me. I'm not even sure because the spring cleaning thing, he was talking in general about a bunch of people. But I just, like, when he was like in defenses that don't even work, I'm the only one that puts out a bunch of defenses between me and everybody that I could think of that maybe he was mad at. And I'm like, they do work. Has he tried them? Like, that's what everybody uses when they want to insult me. Like, TC did it, and now Next, like, oh, and your defense, they don't work 100%, but they really do work. They help people. That's really insulting. That's really insulting, you know. Yeah, Badger says there's a link to the audiobook, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. But my whole point is I don't want to go to war on social media, especially against other targeted individuals, other people going through things. My war is against these people remote neural manipulating me, the gang stalkers, DHS fusion centers, the contractors that's murdering me, this system of corruption. Like, I think that a plan of perpetrators and cyber stalkers is to come in here, and I'm not saying Nex is one of these, but they're going to be accusing people a lot. The cyber stalkers and the perps are going to be saying everybody's fake and this person's fake. They're going to want to carry it because they don't care about this ending. They don't care about the targeting stopping. They're fine. They're not being targeted, so it can go on forever. So they can just make a whole, and then it distracts us off of actually getting through this stuff and putting out the real information. It's driven me bonkers because I'm like, I didn't do anything, and now it's like I got to think about that. I got to think about like, oh, you know, and it's not even like, oh, I'm obsessive. It's like literally. The next day I felt bad about it, right? I was like, what is he talking about? How did I hurt Nex's feelings? I was talking about something else when he said that, like, all you have is people talking about you or something like that. Dude, I'm being murdered. Like, I've almost been shot by cops like 2 or 3 times. And the next day it felt really bad. I was like, what the hell was that? And so my attackers record that EEG, and then they've saved it. They've saved that one and they put it back in. So I can't do that. Like, I can't have all that stuff. And it's like with social media, you have to have not just rhino skin. You have to have like titanium rhino skin. You've got to have like some kind of new nano net cosmic metal fluid T2000 metal skin, But when you're targeted and you're remote neural manipulate, you can't deal with all that drama, Yeah, Emmy, you're probably right. Emmy says if he is being targeted, they are playing with his head too. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm not attacking him, but I just want to tell my side, because people may think like, maybe think that I like did all this stuff to him, and I don't know what he's talking about. And so that's just basically that. Yeah, Wayne Moore says, indeed, I see it only as a distraction. It doesn't get us forward. It doesn't, like, we're dying and being tortured. What is us all like saying, oh, everybody's fake, and then pointing, and you're definitely, like, if you're saying that everybody's you're definitely calling people who are real TIs perpetrators. Like, I know a lot of people who say, like, I know when I call somebody a perp, they're definitely a perp. Like, I know there's a lot of people who say that, but you're probably not right about that. You're probably getting it wrong sometimes. We need to admit that we're human and we don't know everything, Yeah, Emmy says, Kyle, good to bring clarity. We gotta bottom line things and try not make them too complicated, distract. And that's, I should have just not talked about it, but it's gonna drive me nuts if I don't say it. Because I was like, where is that coming from? What is he talking about? And like, I'm not saying he hasn't had problems with people. I'm not saying he hasn't had problems with people and people haven't done stuff to him. I'm just saying I ain't one of them. So Gloria Aquino says, Kyle, it's amazing that with so much torture you've endured, you're moving forward with the bright, positive essence, and you're an inspiration to all TIs and anyone having a bad day. Thank you. Thank you too, Gloria. You put a lot of really positive stuff in my comment section. And this is really an important point of it, really an important part of it, guys. It's really your faith. All the other stuff is important, being strong, having a strong willpower, exercising, supplements, eating right, getting the right defenses, but it stems from faith that there's more. Because like when I'm feeling disconnected spiritually, I can't do nothing goes right. Nothing goes right. Everything is wrong. The targeting's worse. You really, and I'm not talking about dogmatic religion here. Like, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. I believe in God. I pray through Jesus Christ. That's the tradition of my family that gets me to God. And I know that Christians, you're probably going to, but just start on the road to there's a greater force that created everything, and you can get tapped into it. I like this saying that it's like, you're not one drop in an ocean, you're the ocean in a drop. Everything's connected. We created this universe to us, to all the universes out there. You're not just one tiny drop in an ocean. You're a tiny drop with the whole ocean inside. So it's really, really important. I know to some people it sounds hokey, like, I don't need spirituality. I just want the torture side, but to move forward and have any positivity and hope, you have to believe in more, and it affects change in the physical world. It's very important to find a pathway to that. Because, like, I don't know, man, what I was going through the last couple of months, if I wasn't a person of faith and my dad didn't instill that in me, I didn't hang on to that, what they did to me, my brain and my body, I'd just be like, screw this. I'm not getting back on YouTube. I'm not talking about this stuff anymore. This is hopeless. What they did to my brain, like electrocuting my brain, stuff like that. But we have a lot of hope coming up. So you see this real hope if we hang in there, right? If you hang in there in faith, you buy time, you trust in God, get connected to the universe. then we're seeing these real manifestations, right? The UN investigation, a lot more good defensive stuff, and maybe sometimes it seems hopeless. Like you're in a position where you're like, oh my God, I'm about to die, but you've got to just keep going. It's like that was in the beginning of the my targeting, or the beginning of the overt targeting. I watched that movie Serenity, and it was like a big neon sign from God. Like it touched me and resonated with me, and I didn't know what I'd be going through in these last 10 years. But the guy in Serenity, he loses the war for independence, hit after hit, where he has to run. He has to run from the Alliance, this huge, unbeatable force, assassins sent after him and everything like that. But he just doesn't stop. He keeps going. He keeps surviving. And then towards the end, he does something even greater against evil than he imagined in the war for independence that he lost. So if we just keep going, we might see things. And sometimes it's so hard to see it in our heads. It's like, this destroyed my life. How is this going to, how am I going to do something? But if you just keep going and you keep having, you may do something way, way more important against evil than you could have ever imagined. You may have some joy that you couldn't have imagined without this. Because think about it, if this ends, think about how your joy is going to be, your happiness, not your joy, because you can have spiritual joy, but your happiness. Think about comparing it with this. If you feel good, you get out of this, you know, you have times of no pain. Think about how exponentially greater that would be and how you're not going to take it for granted. So maybe there's something like that in there, you know. Yeah, Drunken Ninja says, check out Yuri Bezmenov. Maybe do a reaction video if you haven't seen it. I'll like to see a vid from anyone that uploads. Yeah, I put one up, and I noticed, like I put it up a couple of days ago, and Wayne had put the same one up like a week ago. And I promise you, Wayne, I didn't like, I wasn't trying to copy you or anything like that. Yeah, I put it up separately, but I saw that you put it up like a week before. So important. The one where he's talking about the 4 stages of taking down a country, super important, because that's what's happening. And we're in the crisis and normalization. They're going to do crisis after crisis after crisis, and even this targeting, and then they're going to try and make it seem normal, right? So they have everybody walking around with masks, have everybody on lockdown and everything like that. Have, you know, the riots and the civil unrest. It's just going to be normal to walk through your streets, have statues being torn down and buildings burning, and everybody wearing masks. This is just a new world, right? And we just got to get used to it. No, we don't. You know, we need to make the world actually logical, compassionate, loving, faith-based. We need to get people closer to God. You know, get them on that path, because there's so many people that are just like, nothing matters, and I can be as mean as I want, destroy as much as I want, because we're just little dust mites on this earth. We are small little human beings on this earth, but we're connected to infinity, And I don't see, like, some of the smartest people I know, some smart, and I'm not real, no, there is a smart guy that I know who's an atheist. I don't understand it, because at the very most, all you could say is, I don't know. Like, at the very most, if you're not into dogmatic Christianity or dogmatic religion, at the very most, with like the most intelligent brain, because things come from other things. We don't know what's outside of this universe. We don't know if there's life on other planets, right? People have ideas about that, and some proof that's being covered up. But at most, if I ever said, you know, in like, I do believe in God, I have faith in that on an intellectual level, no one knows. No one knows what the universe came from and where whatever created the universe came from and everything like that. So I don't see how atheists are just like, what's the logic? Are they like, oh, believe in dogmatic Christianity, but I just don't know? Is that what atheism is? Or is it saying there is definitely no God? There's definitely no creator? Because no one can say that. You cannot say that factually. Like, it's just, you just cannot do it. Hey, thank you, Wayne. Wayne says thumbs up. Yeah, guys, thumbs up and share this video. Let's go through one more thing. I'll save the stuff about the UN investigation and what Niels Melzer said at the last one. I'll do that on another live stream. I kind of got sidetracked. had to talk about that. Like, I don't want to, because I don't want it to be a back and forth thing at all. I don't want to attack Next at all. I'm not doing that. But I just want to, my bottom line is just I didn't do anything. I want to, I want to be able to put out my information and not mess with anybody and like help other people, or maybe go on a podcast, with Wayne and Jeff or whatever, or go on Badger's live stream, or them come on some of my live streams. And even that night, like Next, I was like, hey, why don't you stick around and hang out? And he didn't want to. I don't want any drama with anybody. I can't handle it. Like, not like I'm just gonna go insane. I'm a P, so I can't handle people saying. It's not anything like that. It's just like I don't want to deal with it. I have big stuff to deal with, and I don't understand people that like to get into drama and stuff like that, because I'm like, don't you have these murderers like murdering you all the time? Aren't you fighting them? Aren't we trying to like move forward? I don't get it. No, I'm not, Badger, but thanks. Badger says, Kyle, you're talking like a Freemason, saying that we do not have to believe in the Father God, but some grand architect. I'm not sure if you realize it. I'm saying that I go through Jesus Christ to the Father. That's my religion in the tradition of my family. I'm just saying in general, people need to get on the track. God will do that. I don't need to do that. God will do that if I can get people on the track, then God will show them what's right. Not talking like a Freemason. There is a red flag of ideological. Well, you can say whatever the hell you want, Badger. You can say whatever. I'm not a Freemason. I'm a Christian. I like talking kind of broadly sometimes to people who don't like dogmatic Christianity, and I think that sometimes they think they can only believe in that. They can only believe in that, and if they can't, and then it's either that or no God. It's either dogmatic religion or no God, and I think that people need to get on the path. Yeah, Drunken Ninja says, next we watch Kyle set up his Twitch. Trying to think what games would be cool. I guess I should play some PS4 games. I really like that Jedi Fallen Order. Dude, Badger, I'm not saying any. I'm talking in general. I'm just talking. I'm not saying like you must believe this. I'm not issuing decrees. I'm speaking words to formulate ideas. We need to stop that crud. We need to stop it where any little thing that somebody says, if it's general about spirituality or something, being like, well, you didn't say exactly like, you just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. Okay. So I want to show you guys this. Oh, wait, no, I'm going to show this at the end. Saving this for the end. It's a great video. I'm not saying it's what I believe, Badger. I'm saying that people need to get on the track, right? They just need to get on the track of knowing there is something greater that none of us understand. I'm not saying anything about decrees of what people should believe or whatever. And I know there's a thing about like, it's not many paths to God. It is Jesus Christ is the Son of God. That is the path. But I'm saying like, if you're like in where, okay, dogmatic religion or no God, just think about it a little bit. Get on a path where you're not sure if there's a creator, and get onto it. And it's just talking. It's not blasphemy, and it's not being a Freemason, and it's not this, or it's just talking. It's putting out ideas. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I can't say this, I can't say my ideas because Christians are going to be like, no, this is the only way you can say it. I'm not doing that. It's not doing that anymore. No, what I was saying, Badger Report says, no, I'm for real, Kyle. The New Age religion of the New World Order says that there is a greater power that we do not understand, but they will never see it as God. I said God. Badger Report says, it is the core of their Luciferian. I'm not a Luciferian. I wasn't saying anything Luciferian. I was just saying for people who are maybe atheists to say like, How could you say there's nothing more? None of us really know exactly what God is. He tells us through scripture and other things. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Like, I don't have to say everything perfectly. People understand what I'm saying. And I'm just expressing ideas. And I hate this like gotcha mentality of some of the Christian community that if I don't say exactly like the Bible says a bunch of different things and interpret it differently. And I hate that. I hate that hypocritical bullcrap where it's like you have to say when you're just talking about ideas, where it has to be like, oh, that's a red flag. You said something about a powerful force that created things, and you didn't say the word God. That's a red flag, and who's sparing it? Like, no, I was just talking, and I was telling people what I believe. Thank you, New Type. New Type says, Badger, I didn't take what he said the way that you did. It's just reading into something that I'm just talking. Like, I'm just saying some ideas. I think God is many things. I think God is many things. He's in us. He's everywhere. He is Jesus Christ, the Son of God. I pray to Jesus Christ, the Son of God, to pray to God. I think God is very smart. And he's everything. And we can talk about those ideas without saying I have to say it exactly like this, and I have to be dogmatic about it. I'm not going to be dogmatic about things that no one really knows for sure what God is. And people can get all over me about it or whatever. I'm just talking. I'm not trying to be mean to you, Badger. Like, we can talk about that kind of stuff, what you believe, what I believe. We can talk about that. But I'm just talking. I don't think talking about, and I just spit all over my computer. I don't think just talking about stuff should be considered like heresy. I mean, unless you're like telling people you must believe this. You must believe that everything is a force and it's metachlorians. And if you don't believe that, then you go to hell. Like, I mean, like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like, some people think like this about God. And then I think some people say, well, if I can't be like the Christian dogmatic or other dogmatic religions, if I maybe don't believe everything they say, then I must believe that there is no God. And there's a little bit of a like, get on a path where you don't have to instantly go into dogmatic religion, and then think about things. And then God will deliver people to where they're supposed to be in life. We must trust God to guide people. I can't be the person to say, hey, I got the exactly right thing and I've got the answer for your soul to be saved. God has the answer for people's soul to be saved. And he puts it out through scripture, and he puts it out through people, and he leads people there. And I'm just talking, dude. Yeah, I've heard of that. Badger Report says, have you never heard of Helena Blavatsky and the Theosoph? I didn't say any. I'm not saying any of their credos or anything like that. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just talking. What I was doing was an exercise. What I was doing was an exercise in talking to people who are maybe atheists and say the choices are dogmatic religion versus no God at all. Expressing an idea, not a creed or a proclamation. That's what I was doing. So the Bad Report says they use the name God interchangeably, not saying you do that purposely, but I'm saying that you have been ideologically subverted. No, I have not. Thank you, but no, I have not. I have not been ideologically subverted. God is many things. Why do you have to use the word God? Like, why do you have to? We use Jesus Christ, the Son of God. We use the Holy Spirit. We use God. What are you talking about? Why do you have to say God? Okay, so Bad Report, this is a perfect example. When they say God, they really mean Lucifer. When I say God, I don't mean Lucifer. And when I use any other word, such as a force or a creative force that that created everything, I'm not talking about Lucifer. I ain't talking about no Lucifer. Mo Must is ignoring, but no, Badger's a good friend, man. We're just talking about stuff. I mean, like I never take offense, you know, to what Badger says. He's expressing his views on it. I'm just like, I mean, I'll talk with Christians, but I believe the right things. My soul is saved. Like I am not evil. My parents have brought tradition down to me, but I can express ideas and not have to be like, oh, am I saying anything heretical? Because I'm not trying to dogmatically tell people what to believe. I'm expressing ideas. I trust in God to bring people to him. As long as my actions and my talking is good and I can inspire people, God's got that covered. God's got their soul covered. You know? You know what? I don't see a problem, man. Fuck you! Badger Report says, go ahead and pander to me. By all means, do not offend anyone. Get the hell out of here. Go ahead, get the hell out of here, man. Get the hell on out of here. Go fuck yourself. Hey, go fuck yourself, Badger. Get the hell on out of here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. What's wrong with you? Like, what the hell is wrong with? Like, this is the dude. This dude told me Tuesdays and Saturdays he's calling them on YouTube. I'm fucking nice and I'm freaking nice enough to not do videos on it. And what is he doing there? After that whole long thing about me saying I don't want to get into it with people, and you're trying to get into it with me. Wow. Because I'm just talking about faith, because I'm talking about spirituality. Don't pander. I'm not pandering to you. I thought that I was like your friend or something, and we were just talking about our faith. Hey, don't come to any more of my live streams, and I'm not going to come to any more of your live streams. Okay? All right, guys, I got to go. That's making me very upset. That was horrific, what he just said to me when I was saying everything. I was being so logical and just talking about it. Screw that guy. Screw that guy. And I'll be back on the next one. I'll be back on the next one. Dude, Wayne, did you see what he said to me? He said, don't pander to me. Like you can't make anybody mad or whatever. Dude, maybe you have time for that, Badger. Maybe you have time for that. But if you're really targeted, if you're really remote neural manipulated, you don't have time to mess with people. You don't have time to like do all this like back and forth stuff, you know. Dude, whatever, dude. I'm going to take a little break. I'll be back in a couple of days. Hey, thank you, Gloria. Sorry about yelling, guys. Sorry about yelling. I'm not sorry to Badger, though. That was a really shitty thing that he just did, saying that I was pandering to him. I thought that we were, you know, like I'm not doing videos on Tuesday and Saturday because they're his days on YouTube. So I thought I was like helping him out and stuff like that, you know, promoting his channel and stuff like that. And he's like, don't pander to him. Who the hell do you think you are, man? Who the hell do you think you are? All right, guys. I love y'all. Screw that guy. All right, guys. Good night. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next one. Love you too, Mo Moss. Hey, y'all stay strong. Sorry about the yelling, but I'm not sorry to you, Badger. That was a really crappy thing for you to say. And you're saying like that I'm saying all these Freemason type things when I'm just saying ideas. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one.